Unmute Aaron here. Remove that. There you go.
Hello.
If at some point in time, when you go over to that fire, if you can turn it horizontal, it'll fill that screen a lot better than that vertical.
Okay, and is it
Business.
we'll work on it. It's sitting inside of a tub of black tourmaline, and horizontal is gonna be difficult, but we'll figure it out. Is it flickery? Is the frame rate just dropping frames on your end?
It looks fine in StreamYard, so
Good.
it's probably fine.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So
all right.
you got a whole new setup going on there. I actually literally can't see it on my cell phone because the live thing blocks you out in the corner, and I cannot seem to scroll backstage.
Well, yeah, I still need to adjust a bunch of camera settings and stuff. Let me know in the chat if the mic volume is good so I can dial it in perfectly. It seemed perfect to me, but yeah, so camera quality is a lot different.
The lighting's pretty dark. Is there a way to light it? Do you have that light running?
Yeah, there's like I said, there's more stuff I still have to set up and shit, but I'll probably make it lighter than this
Coming through.
eventually.
Yeah.
It's gonna stay like this right now because I spent way too much time on this today. So
Yeah, no
way too much time. So yeah,
Hi,
good
Jen.
on that.
Good to see you.
Let's see. Hello, Willow and Charlotte and Jen and Tiffany and Jacob. Good to see you guys. If you were over, or if you didn't watch, or, I mean, like if you were watching Frank's video, or even if you didn't, I'm going to put a link to it in the chat here, and if you could go over there and like his video and subscribe to him and stuff, that would be great. We are all working together here. So, it is really dark. Yeah, I mean, I can turn the light up more than it is. Like that. It's going to spotlight me, though. So.
Oh, wait, I'm going to have to refresh this.
That'll probably work for you. Do you prefer this better? I mean, it's fucking blinding to me, but...
It does look a lot better, but I get it. Like, I have a ring light that I usually use, and it's... I don't know, you got to find a balance between what illuminates well and what's not literally, like, just white blinding you out.
Yep. Video quality thing, this is a bitrate issue, and it's forced through StreamYard, and so until I switch over to OBS, I can't do anything about that. And realistically, until I get a better internet connection, it ain't gonna get that great, because the upload here ain't that spectacular. So, which is surprising, because it looks like this neighborhood's been here for about 5 years, so it's kind of shocking.
Yeah, it's all good, we'll figure it out. Hey, I'm gonna drop out of the stream real quick because there's no touch response backstage at all, and then we'll pop right back in on this one. The fire should keep going though.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I can't mute my stuff.
Kick you out. Put that on. So, yeah, very happy to have you all here tonight. I do not really have a plan for the show tonight. Aaron is over at some other individual's house, and they're having a fire, as you can see here, the Morgan family fire. And so they will be kind of doing stuff around there. And hello, Jasmine. Hello, really, Paranormal Kala. Good to see all of you. The bonfire is at the Morgan's house, if you know where that is. I don't know where it is, though, so... fireside chat night. Seems that way. Seems that way. Oh, so... yeah, word of the day, maybe? I spent my entire day screwing with technology, so it was really honestly not that enjoyable of a day to me, not doing a lot of very fun stuff. I mean, it's cool to get the stuff set up and everything, but like it's all, of course it's all tedious and playing with software and tweaking stuff, and yeah, it's not so much. So, but here's what it is. Got to get it done. Yeah. So, let's try and actually do some worthwhile kind of intro. This is Expanded Understanding, episode number 26. As I said, we have Aaron over at the Morgan's house. They are having a bit of a fire in the good way, the kind where you hang out and be friends with your friends. And so...
and we're both Aries.
And they're both Aries, and they're both Aaron. And
It's true.
so...
That's how it works, man.
Hello, Sam. Good to see you. I did not get the time to look into Robert Sepper or the Matthios guy that was saying yesterday. I literally, I was up talking about random stuff to Aaron until about 6 o'clock in the morning about tons of stuff that happened in my past. It just kind of kept unfolding, and then I got about 4 hours sleep, and then I woke up to an Amazon delivery, and I've been screwing with technology ever since. So.
You mean you woke up to Christmas morning is what you're saying?
I guess you can call it Christmas morning, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you loved it, man. Set that shit up. You fucking loved it. You know it.
I mean, I definitely like having this stuff. There was there's some stupid shit on the back end that was I don't know, it felt buggy or whatever, you know what I mean? So I was troubleshooting for a little while, and that's not that enjoyable, but it's all mostly set up now. I don't know. I don't think I would change this lighting at all. The only reason why I would want to change this lighting is with better floodlights, so that I could run the camera at lower ISO. And realistically, for this stream, I probably need to switch it to. It's at 720/60 right now, and I'll probably just change it to 720/30.
Yeah.
For sure, and that will allow me to.
What about
run a lower ISO too?
It'd be cool to see you a little closer up, where you filled up more of the frame. There we go. Yeah, that's a lot better. And see now if you can get lighting coming in from two different angles and slightly above, like the one you have now, but on either side, I mean that can make a huge difference too. Again, turn it down, and there's really I bought $3 lights off eBay, little ring lights and shit. They put a couple of AAA batteries in. They last a long time. They make a big difference, and they're not blasting you out. They just have fill light.
Your tablet or whatever was over at the fire just disconnected.
All right. I'll fix that. Okay, Aaron will fix that. The other me will fix that.
Some Aaron will fix that.
Your temperature, your phone's overheating. Maybe pull it back from the fire a little bit. Yeah, too much fire.
Yeah, too much heat. That Aries energy. Too much fire.
Aaron is an incredible musician, by the way. You should come talk about your... and then once the phone cools down, we'll get the fire going again. But you should talk about your history with music and your heart for music.
Oh, my history of music.
You have to speak up a little bit.
My history of music. My history of music began, I suppose, with a couple of ice cream buckets and some wooden spoons and the Thriller album. First time I heard Billie Jean, the intro to that song spoke to me. So that was 35 years ago, and I've been drumming ever since. Played drums through high school, played in a steel drum band at college. Then I joined the illustrious Marine Corps and played in the Marine Corps band for 10 years on both coasts. Played in a lot of gigs there, played for a couple presidents. Got out, played in a few jazz bands. I played with the Seahawks drum line and the Sounders Soccer Club band. I've been beaten on shit for the better part of 35 years.
Right on. I didn't know a lot of that stuff. Right on, man.
Yeah, that's kind of the bridged version. I picked up a guitar and a banjo and a host of other stringed instruments along the way, and I pick at those occasionally.
They've got a couple sets, or at least one big set of solfeggio bell chimes, like Vienna bell chimes or something. They're the big ones 5 feet tall, maybe, or something, 2 inches in diameter.
Yeah, I think they're 3.5 feet.
Yeah, it's amazing just to be out on their porch, listen to the wind blow.
Wow, it's so big.
Super big.
They speak to me. The big ones speak to me.
That's what she said.
She did. Well, that's pretty sweet. I've been drumming for my entire life on my stomach, but I don't think I've ever hit a drum set. But I do like making beats on my stomach while I'm bored.
That's the best way to do it.
I think one of the really cool things about drumming is that like every drummer I've had or ever met has that crazy hand-eye coordination in a sense of being able to do different tasks at different rhythms with different parts of their body. And like people that don't drum, that's like it's so hard for them. I mean, it's super hard for me. It's the idea of like the pat, rubbing your stomach, patting your head. But drummers, that's like they're fucking dialed to that. Like they're so good at it.
Yeah. Dude, a neighbor of mine growing up, he was my neighbors, Rick and Bobby. They were several years older than me. I think Bobby, the younger one, was like 2 years older. Rick was 3 or 4. And they were heavy into like Nirvana and that whole grunge thing and playing all the time. Now Bobby was a drummer, and Bobby he was born with like a deformed hand, so he had like a couple nubs like for fingers on one hand, but he was able to hold a drumstick and do some cool shit with it. And that other hand was normal, but he'd had like hundreds of surgeries even as a teenager, like at 12, 14 years old. But it was cool, man, to watch him play and just like being present with him, like just hanging out in the neighborhood with him for days on end at times, watching him play and do his shit. It's fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how good some people, like how good you can get at something if you just want to do it, like regardless of the limitations that you have or anything, you just give it really hard. I actually read a quote just earlier that I didn't like the word that they used at the end of it, but the basic concept was that like the real kind of resource that was behind mastery was stubbornness, and I think it's actually perseverance, but very much so like that stubbornness or perseverance where you're just willing to like make it happen regardless of what you have or what's against you or anything like that.
I feel like the nuance to stubbornness is I am going to do it my way no matter what, right? Even if you keep being told like your ways might not be that efficient, maybe you should recalibrate. But perseverance is recalibrate every time, constant recalibration, because you will achieve your goal. But it just may not be the way you thought you were going to get there because it's always changing based on so many variables.
Yeah, there's always a lot of variables. That's why like planning too far is kind of ridiculous in a certain way. Like you can only plan so far ahead, and then maybe it'd be a completely different set of variables when you got there.
100%. And that's why it's nice to go with the flow. 5 episodes into the future, 1 episode at a time.
It's like the clouds and dirt idea, you keep your head in the clouds, but you stay focused on the step in front of you.
Yeah, 100%. And it's nice that we have this every day to do. I mean, it keeps us focused on this, really. It's not like once a week and we're doing a whole bunch of other shit and like maybe trying to put stuff in the podcast before next episode. Like, no, I mean, we're taking whatever steps are in front of us and making lots of random content just in fun ways. Like, dude, did you say, the video you sent me of you watching Paula and Frank and Paula streaming them, that was in the audio you sent me of the video? Did you already see the one I sent you and the one I posted in Peerless and on our page?
No, I didn't.
Dude, that's 100% synchronistic. I literally posted, me and Aaron were sitting outside on our patio with the window open and Frank's and Paula show blasting behind us. And I took a little 20-second clip and I posted that in the Expanded Understanding group and the Fearless group and I tagged you in it. So it's funny. You literally sent me the exact same thing, just from a different perspective. That's so cool.
Super weird. Yeah, I wasn't really actually trying to show you that, but...
Right. I know. That's why I'm like, did he see this already? I bet he didn't. I bet this is just telepathy.
That's pretty funny.
Entanglement, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, you can do group chats. Can you do big group chats on Facebook now?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. Well, we did that 3-person, so we know that works, but it sounds like they set up for at least 4, if not more. So I don't know how many, it sounds like as many people, I mean, I don't know what the limitation is, but it sounds like it's set up for groups, like 10 plus.
That'd be good. I wonder what the limit is. Like
you're not Instagram
has those too, but the limit at 32, and it's not that great. 32 is easy to exceed. Crackle, crackle, crackle of the fire.
I know it'd be nice to keep the crackle on if it wasn't picking up our voice also.
Yeah.
But that's all right.
You gotta hook up a super good directional mic to it and keep it super low.
Dude, I forgot to tell you, I'll have to bring it down or ship. I'm gonna ship some stuff down Monday or Tuesday. A bunch of equipment, the extra mic, and all that shit. And then I was thinking I could ship down I have a Zoom 5 audio recorder. So I don't know if we can do, because that'll do eventually if we can tie that in, because it's actually got XLR cables into it. You can actually do 4 mics into it, XLR cable mics.
Okay.
Anyway, there's shit we can do with that too. There's other directional, like really powerful, like $200, but they're really focus directional mics and type boom mic type stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
More
It's
toys to
always-
play with.
Yeah, it's always just a matter of chords, basically. You gotta have the right chords.
Yep.
Yeah. And you can play with all the toys. So. Yep. Let's see. Man, I honestly like feel bad because in a certain way because like I spent so much of my time today doing something that's like I honestly do not even want to talk about it at this point in time because I spent so much time doing it that like I like also hardly have anything to talk about today as well because my head was just like stuffed into manuals and Reddit threads about tweaking specific stuff and all this shit. Like it's too much. I'm resting tomorrow for sure.
So do you want to do it be beneficial for you then to get in the groove here because you got a few hours to go or whatever, and that's fine. We can end whenever you're tired. But do you want to do some kind of meditation here and just tune in?
Oh, I'm not.
Go away and-
I'm not tired. I just thought about technology all day. It's like human technology, boring technology.
Really. It's way less fun than stuff in our mind.
Yeah.
Right, Joe? She's gonna come on after she takes a shower.
Are you in or around LA, Zach? Yes, I am in Riverside, California.
Which is 1 hour outside LA. I looked it up on GPS because my grandma was telling me that was true, and I was like, no, I think it's closer to LA, and then she was right. It's an hour out.
It is in the greater Los Angeles area. Let's call it that. The Los Angeles Valley. Yeah. It's close enough that you feel like you're basically in LA. It's a suburb of LA. So, yep. You drive about a mile, and then you get on a highway, and then you stay on that highway, and you can go all the way into downtown LA. So, it's basically in LA. The 215.
215.
Yeah, it runs like east-west. It tends to the north-south, I think. Is that right? Yeah, I think that would be right. Yeah, the north-south are even numbers, and the east-west are odd numbers.
Every way.
Is
Because
it the other way?
I-5, Interstate 5 is north to south. Canada to Mexico, and that's an odd number.
Weird,
think
because
east-west.
we're totally like to the east of Los Angeles, so I'm confused now. Never mind that. Don't listen to me about roads. You just type it in on Google Maps and then you follow where it tells you to go. That's how you get here.
Yeah, no, 100%, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It works
I want
really
the
good.
landmarks. I just need the address, Grandpa. Come on.
hmm
I love you. Give me the address.
Yeah, Riverside is a pretty nice area. We're right on the border to Grand Terrace also, and Grand Terrace is pretty nice too. So, it's quaint. There's certainly no like crime or anything around. It's like nice quality suburbs, so it's chill. Cabling sucked when I ran Pro Audio. Just all the connectors, cable shorts, etc. drove me insane. So glad I got out of there. Yeah, I don't have it with professional audio, but I have it with setting up network closets and like large-scale commercial networks inside of whatever buildings. Cabling gets pretty intense in some of those, for sure. It's not that fun. What does everyone think about meeting in Washington State later this year? I think most of the people that are super active in this, like, are here nightly or whatever. Most of them are in Washington, so that's probably a smart place
For
to
sure.
do it.
Yep.
So,
I think that's a delightful idea.
Yeah, the Morgans are itching to host people.
well, sounds like the Morgan's house. And then also like Jacob and Samantha are up there too.
Yep.
So there's lots of places up in the area that we would be able to
They're
fit
working on
people.
clearing some major big fire pit areas, and like one of them's got like two rivers, creeks that run around it.
A
And there's,
river
like, kind
runs
of a
through
natural
it.
amphitheater that they're working on getting
Mhm.
cleared out and set up.
Nice.
So
That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Especially Jacob with his flute out there in the middle of the night, all foggy.
Uh-huh.
Listen to the sounds reverberate off the trees.
100%, man. They're out there, ways out there too. They're like an hour and a half north from Seattle. They're up Mount Vernon.
How far is that from you, Aaron? Other Aaron?
It's also like an hour and a half, right? 2 hours. I think different
Uh,
area, maybe.
Yeah, with a ferry, it's about 2 hours.
From Seattle, it's like with the ferry, it's like 2 hours 20 minutes. Actually, it's like 2 hours 22 minutes
I see.
from Edmonds, actually.
That's
Or
not.
Seattle.
That's a little bit of a jump, but
Yeah, it's
It could
cool.
be
We'd
done.
always meet up in Seattle and carpool over.
mm-hmm.
Big ferry, it's cool. It's Washington, it's beautiful.
Rough idea on later in the year. Yeah, I don't know. I think this idea just came up about 3 seconds ago. So
Yeah, may
I'm not-
manifest in like a matter of days or weeks. Who knows? Time goes
Yeah.
fast. We got to have our little meetup in California. Maybe that's where other people can meet up too. I'll be there in the next week.
yeah, if you want to meet up real soon, Los Angeles area would be the way to go for
Please.
sure. Yeah. Unless you're already in Washington, then you could hang out with you could go hang out with the Aarons tonight.
It's true. That you could. Message Darren. Message me. We'll get you the address. Come chill.
We could use another errand.
Yeah. Any more errands? Let's triple
Yeah.
this shit up, man. It's a tetrahedron. Fire is another Aaron born Aries. Come on, man. Let's do it. Leo work. Any fire sign. That's fine. Your name's
If your
Aaron.
name is Aaron, you're doubly welcome.
Triply welcome. That'd be 6 A's. Digging it. 6 olives.
So many A's. Tiffany's in Seattle, and yep. I don't know. You don't want to wait too late in the year up by Seattle if you want to be hanging out outside, being nice and comfortable and stuff. But you might not have a choice. Well, I don't know. Yeah, have a choice. You can just go do whatever you want.
4 to 5 months of the year. I mean, it's transition right now. It was raining a bit earlier. It's kind of stopped, but we're hoping the clouds will clear up. So we might be able to get a sight of the meteor tonight if the clouds clear up from where they're located. Maybe we have a clear view over the. Is that north over there? Yeah, over the north horizon.
The
So
Swan
hopefully clear
Comet.
up.
Yeah, I completely
really
forgot to
quickly,
look
how
for
you
it
doing?
last night.
She's
Hi,
waving.
Really.
She said, "Hi, really, really."
Oh, so
Did you catch? Were you listening? Like, did you catch most spring show? 'Cause I didn't listen to the whole last hour of it. We were setting up the fire and everything else.
I think like the 30 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that, before we started this.
Yeah.
Whatever
What's,
was on this stream too.
What are some things? I know. I love that you did that idea. But by the way, I think it's a great way to integrate community with other people. It's awesome.
He was. Let's see. One thing that stood out was he pointed on how like doing the simple things, especially like making sure that you're drinking good water and drinking plenty of it, and how while he's done all this other stuff, and as much as he's even preached that, he still really doesn't do it a lot. And I think that's probably the same for a lot of people. I mean, I know it is with me. Like, I don't drink anywhere near enough water, and so really just like what I took from it is kind of extrapolated, but just the idea that, like, focus on the simple things that you can do, and then obviously actually do the stuff. So this stuff does help you get through your blockages or awaken or whatever the case may be, but just taking the time to do that. And let's see, there was one other one that stood out to me, if I can remember what it was.
She's our off-screen fire stoker right now.
It sounds like the yard next door is getting cleared up pretty good. And he touched on this when he talked about it before, but just the idea that, like, when one thing happens, it has a tendency to then like start happening out around it. And he's talking about how his mom has very much so like gotten inspired to clean up the space and make it nice and these kinds of things. And I think that's like, if you really want to have like an effect in reality, or you really want to change the world, like, that's how it really happens. Like, you do something and then it starts to carry out from that, and you just keep doing the things, and so I think that those two things are definitely, I think, important. I was also getting stuff set up during it and trying to, like, get situated before this, so I was also on the phone with you for part of it, and then I was talking to Jen for part of it, and so.
Oh, so you weren't sitting down meditating and listening, Zach? What's wrong with you? I thought you were
I did.
spiritual.
I did not happen to be doing that this time. Apparently, I am not spiritual. So,
Shame on you for not doing it the way you should.
actually, that's funny that you say that because not gonna get into it too much, but some guy basically told me that I should be doing this instead of what I had done on on Facebook earlier, and I just like I didn't want to. I'm not gonna argue with this guy or something, but I just responded to him going like, "Can you please provide me a copy of the doctrine that shows me that I am like that's I have an obligation to that?" Like, you know, it's just funny. Like the whole idea of should is just. I mean, there's no book out there that we refer to that's like these are the ways to do it. You know what I mean?
Unless
So
you're
the-
David Wilcock and it's all about the law of one.
Even they hit that it's subjective because he follows it, but everybody doesn't. You know, it's
Right.
not everybody, and since it's not everybody, the should gets real subjective real fast,
No doubt.
and so it's really just like kind of a silly concept, you know, and unless it's really in like small levels, like you're like this is like kind of a stupid example, but like you want to light your cigarette and you're looking for a lighter, and I'm like, you should check your pocket. If you haven't checked your pocket, you should check your pocket. Like it's a likely place, you know what I mean? But so in kind of like a micro case like that, this word's fine, but it's like
Yeah. Even then, like, think about it. I mean, like, most of the time I was trying to think about what the example you just gave, and like, I don't have a conscious thought like I should check my pocket. It's just that's what I do.
right.
I don't know what my lighter is. I just check my pocket. There's no shit about it. That's just the next logical step. There's no like moral framework around it.
Maybe that's what a should really is when like you just do it. It's
Yeah.
not really something that someone else should be telling you to do. It's the things
Right.
that you just autonomously do. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
the autonomy proves that you should have done that.
Yeah. That's why you want me to shit all
you
over yourself.
should metabolize your dinner if you ate it tonight.
Mhm. Or just do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you should, because even if I don't tell you this, you're gonna do it, and you're
Yeah.
gonna do it if I do, and you're gonna do it if I. You can't stop it. Like you literally can't even stop it. So, you should do that, but not in the sense of like you should do this. More in the sense of like, well, if we run like the epidemiology of humans forward 6 hours, you should have digested over that time. So you should be digesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's totally like a question instead of a command.
Yeah.
What just happened to your camera?
It was going to Messenger. I just sent you a thing. I think Kevin sent it to you too. But it'd be cool actually for you break this down. Frank broke it down on the show in his own experiences and perceptions. I don't know, a year ago or 2 years ago, year and a half ago. But this chart's really interesting. Maybe if you can relate it to like the Abzu and all that stuff, that'd be cool.
Okay, I remember this image from somewhere before. I have to zoom in super far to be able to even see anything. This is a periodic table of the elements in a different way is really what it is, but it's a kind of a vortexing mechanic kind of way of doing it. I think Walter Russell was actually the guy that came up with this.
Yeah. I was gonna say I've seen this similar thing from him.
Yeah, the interesting thing about when Walter Russell did it is, again, like, all the people who did what you could probably consider like real worthwhile work on stuff like this, Walter Russell, they would lay out some kind of mapping that would predict other things that would be there based off of what they knew about it, right? And this kind of pattern that ended up getting created, and Walter Russell also, like, did one based off of, I think, like sound harmonics too.
Right.
Nevertheless, they're both capable of kind of predicting.
Yeah. Isn't that one specifically associated with a different Egyptian pantheon? The green one, right?
Yeah, I don't see anything listed on there that shows that.
Oh, maybe I didn't zoom in on it. The one I was remembering though, that I thought was that one.
It's got the the sun disk, the wings of Isis thing, and
Are you
it's
able
got
to pull it up on screen?
yeah.
And then we can pull up the Walter Russell one too.
Why did that share that?
Gotta select the right
Oh, that's
settings,
not,
bro.
it's not in Chrome. That's why. 1 second. Technical difficulties. Zach's brain's broken.
Mhm.
Just for today, though.
Yeah, it's all good.
I went to the logical gym for too long today, and
Yeah.
I have not been going to the logical gym for a while. It's not that great, really.
Yeah.
Maybe gonna take a pass on the logical gym from now on as much as possible.
No doubt. Well, soon, just when you're setting up all your equipment, you just lay your hands on it, or you don't have to. Just tune your consciousness into it and fix the bugs out. I was trying to do that with some stuff on my phone today. I was like, why don't I just do this and fix it? And I tried for a while. I didn't get it fixed. I had to quickly cache on the app and redo it. But anyway, I think that's going to become more and more. Because the point is, like, really to get it to a place of where it's not draining our energy, where you set it up in a way that's exciting when you come into the show. It's not draining you, and that's the ideal, right? That's never we're never like having to drain ourselves to connect with technology.
Yeah, see, Jasmine's on our side here. She says Riverside isn't too far from most of Orange and LA County. But everybody in LA disagrees with you, though, Jasmine, and us, and myself. if they live down in like OC or something, and you tell them you live in Riverside, they're like, oh, that's like an hour and a half. That's on the whole other side. No can do.
Yeah, it's not that far.
It's funny that they act like that too, because it's like, I mean, okay, so it's an hour and a half over here, but like where they live, if you go and do virtually anything, there's so many. The population density is such that like going to Chick-fil-A takes about an hour and a half. So even if you live like 15 minutes away from one, the fucking line's enormous. So it's pretty funny. So this picture over here, if we zoom in more, really a lot more, we'll see that like way up here at the top, you can see carbon here, right there. So these are elements. So this is a different way of laying out the periodic table of the elements. It has to, I don't know actually what they were intending to do. So they're ordered by valency, which is the number of electrons that are in the outer shell of the thing. So going from left to right, I believe, or probably more density, it looks like. What do we got here? What order does he go in? Okay, so valency 1's in tight here, and then 2's. So it works from the inside out, which kind of makes sense in certain ways. The ones that are on the outside don't mix with anything else, like full valence shell things. That's like, for instance, the noble gases. They don't mix with anything else. It's weird though, because there are things on here, and I haven't double checked them. I would have to double check them, but like if this is valency 8 over here, which is what it should be out there. What is that's 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2. These valency numbers must mean other things. What is this? 7, and that's 6, and that's 5. So 8 would have to be also in the center. Yeah, there we go. Neon, helium, argon, and stuff. This is really like a weird layout. I would really like to hear from whoever created this, like reading actually what is the point of laying it out like this. Like, I understand that you can make it do this spiral thing if you lay it out like that. Maybe that does in some way, like obviously there, the periodic table of the elements as we have it generated by Mendeleev or whatever it was Mendeleev, I think, or is he an astronomer?
Not
You
sure.
remember the guy who made the guy who did the original periodic table of the elements, let's call it that. Nevertheless, that's not accurate to anything. It's just a table, you know what I mean? It's like it's not accurate to nature or anything. So this is probably trying to say that it's net. When I look at this, you immediately like kind of think vortex, right?
Totally.
So well, or what we oftentimes call a vortex, but a spiral, right, is
Ooh,
what you're
you know what it
really,
reminds me
really
of, too?
seeing.
So if we rotate that 90 degrees towards us, right, then
Mhm.
it can look like the snake eating its own tail, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's a spiral.
Can do this thing. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is a spiral, or I think that's what they're trying to lay out here. At least it's
Yeah.
just plotted with straight lines.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense to me, bro. All right, pull up
I
Russell
don't-
Wilson now.
I don't
Russell
really
Wilson.
know what the point is, though.
Let's,
I mean,
let's contrast it. Let's contrast it with the Russell Wilson one, or Russell Wilson. the
Russell
fucking-
Wilson, quarterback of the Seahawks, and also
yeah, the other
great scientist.
Yep.
I'm gonna actually. I have
Oh,
to
bro.
find it somewhere.
Look what I just found. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Remember what we've been talking about? It's a resin about to burn. Dragonfly, benzoin,
Oh,
dragonfly.
cool. That dragonfly resin, huh?
Yeah, just I mean, I got a pack of different resins. I've never burned this one before. We've been talking about dragonfly shit.
Do. Oh, okay, I think this is the one. Yeah. This is the one done by Sound by Walter Russell. The Russell Periodic Chart of the Elements. I don't know who made the other one or what their credentials are. Not that credentials mean everything, but Walter Russell's credentials are out of this world. the stuff that he has made, and well, also just the people that supported him. When a lot of times in the spiritual community or in the New Age community, people like to kind of glorify Tesla as being like the smartest person to ever exist, and like he's some kind of alien. Well, when Tesla was alive, he was quoted as saying that Walter Russell was the smartest man that ever existed.
Yep, 100%.
So,
And it's funny because they quoted as Einstein saying the same thing about Tesla. Like, I don't know, ask Tesla. You'd know better than I would, you know?
and it's claimed that quote is entirely false, but that does exist out there. I honestly kind of.
Go ahead.
I honestly kind of wonder if the Tesla quote about Walter Russell just got like shifted over.
That's what I was,
You know
that's
what
what I
I
was going to say. But, like, I mean, it doesn't matter. The work speaks for itself, you know, ultimately. Like, there's so many quotes and shit.
All three of these guys were super great thinkers. So,
For sure. Like, there's so many Einstein quotes that are great quotes. And I'm like, you know, I have no idea if he actually said it, but really it's the quote, man. That's why I don't mind doing anonymous quotes. I don't mind quoting people, but, like, it's not about who said it, man. It's about, like, really, how does it resonate with you? That's all that matters, really.
yeah. It's interesting to see in this chart that there's a whole lot of chemical or names on here that are not on the periodic table of the elements. The interesting thing is that several of these that are on the periodic table of the elements now definitely were not when he created this chart.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely predicted quite a few things existence with this.
Marshmallows.
We got some
from-
more stuff. It's very exciting right now. Hold on.
You can see at the bottom here, this is from 1926. So,
It's apple.
Yeah. You like apple?
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
to get into the whole, I don't even know Walter Russell's stuff well enough to do this any kind of justice. We'd be better off watching some kind
We
of
got one of
YouTube
those videos.
videos or something like
We got
that,
that one video I
because
sent.
Walter Russell is. If you're gonna take time with Walter Russell, you should do it really good justice, because the guy was really, really incredible with a lot of the
Dude,
stuff that he
Dak.
came up with. So
Jack, you want to roll that video that I sent you, the Walter Russell stuff about the vortexes and the interconnection with people, I think, or whatever, the masculine and feminine vortexes and spiraling and all that shit? I
was that in?
think it was a messenger. It's just we messaged each other a lot, so it might be back a little ways. But
Yeah.
it was when I was sending you all those links to the playlist for my other YouTube channel. That has a lot more playlists.
That might be a lot of fucking messages back now.
Okay, I'll see if I can. Oh, no, because I'm in the chat. No, it's not.
We'll
It's not
see.
should be too far. There's also the one I
I'll
said about the
find
brain.
it.
Remember the brain and the that guy? I mean, that'd be cool to watch on the show sometime too. But the Walter Russell one would be cool, obviously, in the context of what we're talking about.
We should
especially 'cause I
we should do like a whole week just digging into Walter Russell's stuff just because I
That would
don't
be cool.
know it well enough and I've never gotten around to it.
Well, let's start with this video and see how it rolls, man. There's some really interesting shit. I haven't seen those videos in a while.
Okay, I remember what they were called. If we're gonna, we should probably start from the beginning of these things rather than just jump
Yeah.
into a random middle one, since we don't have really like any solid context anyways besides Walter Russell.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it'd fit in synchronistically, but either one, whatever. It's all gravy, baby. Yeah, and then I'll mute my mic, but then I'll just put me on the fire because Aaron's on the phone right now, and then we'll have his back in later. Some live interaction. Fire.
What's this guy's channel name? Matt Presti.
Yes, yeah, he's got a lot of videos. I'll put together on there.
He has a Walter Russell playlist.
Sure does.
So. Unit 17 is the first one in the playlist, but then it's all in order after that. It's kind of funny.
That is funny, interesting. Maybe we start. Is there number 20? What are we on? 26? I don't know. Whatever. Just pick one to start with the video. It's fine.
Beep boop.
Meep, meep, meep.
And because it may not say something about it in here, Walter Russell was all about doing a whole lot of different stuff. And so, for instance, on his Wikipedia, it says his occupation was artist, philosopher, builder, musician, scientist, and lecturer, this is obviously pretty broad, but he actually did even more than that, because that one, when it says artist, he was a very accomplished painter, but also a very accomplished sculptor. And like some people have been quoted as basically saying that like Walter Russell accomplished more in his life than anyone else does in like 5 lives. So his incredibly gifted, really, or I mean, maybe he was just very dedicated. He actually left school at 9 years old originally to go to work, to start working, and then put himself through an art school. So it's definitely a very different individual. So this video is about some of his science. This one particularly is part 1 of this series. It's on a person named Matt Presti's channel. His name, that's where the playlist is. He didn't make these. So we're gonna go ahead and watch that. Walter Russell's a good guy.
Yay.
This is called Defining a New Cosmology. It basically talks about a theory that, while it hasn't died, it has kind of changed forms in certain ways. At the time of Walter Russell, he called it the electric universe theory. And very much so, this will probably talk about it, but at a very base level, what it said was that the entirety of the universe was electrical charge, and it could be understood basically as an electrical charge flowing through some type of superfluidic medium, right? So not looking at it as really, nobody had any. When Walter Russell did this cosmology thing, we had like really, really minor amounts of stuff with this. Electric universe theory was the preeminent theory all the way up until what's known as the Michelson-Morley experiment. The reason for that is that the electric universe theory, which is also was referred to at the time as the luminiferous aether theory, but was widely supported by people like James Clerk Maxwell and Nikola Tesla, and they basically then built off of this theory. Well, Tesla worked with it a lot. Russell worked with it a lot. We still do actually work with it in certain ways. It's usually called like SVT theory now, superfluid vacuum theory. It's very much so promoted now by a guy named Dr. Tawari, and he's actually made several 0 point over unity generators using the concepts of that cosmology, superfluid vacuum theory, that are actually operational now. They're just, the modes that he's created are pretty hard to scale to large scale. So this theory, the point is that this theory has basically always been around. Since Walter Russell generated it, and it was called electric universe, or then was also kind of dubbed luminiferous aether theory as well. But then moving forward, it was still carried or worked on by people who, theoretical physicists basically, and has been picked up with some other names now, such as superfluid vacuum theory. So it's still very much so an active potential cosmological theory, and this will probably define the introduction to it. I have not watched this video, so I'll be listening myself. Here we go.
To the exploration of consciousness.
Russell.
Love is universal law. What is universal law? Basically, universal law is the law of giving, the principle of giving. And it's because man has violated that law of giving for re-giving that we have created every war and every problem in our lives.
Walter Russell.
And so we have all sorts of things happen to us that we say we cannot help. We have losses or we have sicknesses or things. We made them. If we didn't make them individually, we made them collectively. And if we made them, we've got to stand for them, just as we are now making what we've got to stand for as a whole world condition. And the mental existence, the mind existence rises above all of that. It says, what are they? They're not. There's something greater than the body. There's something greater than man. There's something greater than civilization. And awareness of the fact that man has been breaking the laws of nature that's caused all of that, say, very well, that's good too. It's time that we repented and believed and turned the other way and with our eyes toward the Creator instead away from him.
Welcome to the exploration of consciousness. I'm your host, Matt Presti. The show must go on. This presentation is entitled The Breakdown of the Russellian Cosmology. My guest is Robert Otey, who will be joining me for an encore of the translation of the Russellian science into English. Our special guest narrator is Daniel Alva, who will be reading many of the quotes in this presentation. The science given to Walter Russell from the Creator is the language of light itself. The purpose of this presentation is to translate the sacred geometrical teachings of light as authored by Walter and Leo Russell to you, the viewers, concerning this thought wave universe and how it comes into being. The infinite complexity of effect has given rise to such misconceptions as quantum theory, string theory, the nuclear theory of the atom, black holes, and a host of other unproved scientific guesses. The purpose of this presentation is to lay a firm foundation beneath the workings of this universe. With this new knowledge, mankind may at last cast off the chains of his senseless toil that has enslaved and impeded the progress of our human race. So bear with us, and let's take a tour of the Russellian cosmology, which actually explains how the real universe in which we live works. The very basis of this alternative cosmology is centered on the motions of nature herself. Mystics throughout time, those humans whom have reached the farthest of any of us into the light of their own souls, had this knowledge and understanding of man and his role in this thought wave universe of seeming two-way motion. It is now within reach of the common man to open his soul to the teachings of the Creator and this universe of illusion. Sit back and enjoy the revealing aspects of the secret nature of light and the explanation of the wave cycles which create the known universe. It must be stated that understanding the process of this wave is most important to the understanding of the one law that all bodies obey. All bodies in the universe, as the universe itself, obey this one law. It must also be stated that the wave can easily be observed almost anywhere in nature once you understand the mechanics behind it. For instance, the calm ocean is a perfect example of the zero mind of stillness. The movement of thought energy from stillness to the wave crest then returns to the stillness or calm state. All waves follow this cycle. Thought waves are the original cause of all motions. In this presentation, we will be referencing the many collective works of Walter and Leo Russell. A majority of the quotes for this show come from the book Atomic Suicide, which was co-authored by Walter and Leo Russell and released to the world in the year 1957.
We must bear in.
All right, so that was a brief introduction and a lot of defining. I thought there was going to be a lot more talking in that video. I was wrong. Yeah, so functionally you can see that his stance is that we kind of took a wrong turn at a certain point in science, and there's a lot of individuals, especially in theoretical physics, that would agree with that concept. What we know is that we don't know. We have things that work at certain scales, but every single concept that's out there is either doesn't have enough testing, or it has scales at which it does not operate properly. For instance, relativity, Einstein's theory, doesn't really explain a lot of quantum interaction, and it doesn't really properly explain a black hole either. So these kinds of things, it seems right for doing certain things, and questionable on other things for sure. So thinking about bringing Jen on here in a little bit, just to have her here as well. I will probably have to take a quick pause in a moment to get her stuff set up real quickly. I didn't get it set up all the way. Hi, Aaron.
Hi.
Hi.
So I didn't get to see much of that. I heard some of it, but yeah, we'll have to skim through that series. There's probably videos better than others. I think the one I sent you is probably cooler, but it's a good groundwork for sure. And there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot to go through with the stuff that he's put out.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about cooler, it's it's one thing to be all wowed and shazammed and stuff, but if we're really here to learn, it's important to go into the concepts from the front of them and understand why they built from where they built. So it's important to understand, if we're going to spend time talking about Walter Russell on this channel, that he comes from a completely alternative way of thinking about how the universe is generated. That concept is based off of the idea that waves persist through all dimensions of reality. And as we saw from the picture that we showed earlier, he's very much so showing with that you can even map like the table of the elements with this wave propagation. This was important to him because he, as you saw from his books such as Atomic Suicide, he's trying to also show that the atomic model that we were utilizing was not actually accurate at that point in time, and questioning whether the concept of the book Atomic Suicide, to really paraphrase it, is questioning there was unexplained things about atomic theory, and questioning whether or not going that direction was actually misleading us from where we needed to be. Kind of the idea of the Bugs Bunny pops up out of a hole expecting to be one place, and then he's not in the right place, and I must have taken a wrong turn at Tuscaloosa or whatever it was that he said. Kind of the same idea, only with all of science. So Marla, very good to see you tonight. I hope you are doing well.
Well, hi Marla. Marla's a new one, yeah? A new one to the live chat, at least tonight?
New to live chat. I've
Cool.
spoken to her on the phone and stuff, but this was the first time I've seen her in here.
Well,
And
welcome, Marla.
I don't remember your real name, so I have to say hi, Soul Ascension Healing and Meditation. Aaron probably remembers your name though.
Jenny Miller.
Jenny Miller, that's right. There you go. The cross-referencing of account names to
Yep.
real names is
For
it's
sure.
it's gotten quite crazy. I feel like over time.
It is nice though with StreamYard. And can we do this in the other software, the OBS or whatever, where because I think anyone who comes into the live chat, well, it's either through YouTube, so they have to be using a YouTube name, or even in StreamYard, they've got to sign in using YouTube or their Facebook avatar or something. So it just keeps it at least true to something that's true about them, not some random.
Yeah, every single person
or
that's
something.
on here is on YouTube. And functioning with OBS, you use kind of a plug-in to it where it integrates the chat from whatever platform you're on, and then
Yeah.
you can bring chat on screen. I could literally leave something else open, like YouTube open, pop out the chat, drag it somewhere, screen record that part of it, and have the whole live chat on the screen all the time, which is better actually.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure.
It actually has proven through pseudo-scientific testing, meaning that like just a bunch of dudes trying stuff to see whether or not they get more interaction on their live stream, it has proven over time to generate a very notable amount more chat interaction if the chat is on the screen all the time. A lot of bigger streamers don't do it because the chat ends up just excessively spammy, and once it gets to that point in time, you don't need to be leveraging things to be increasing chat interaction.
Yeah.
You really, in certain ways, would maybe even promote demoting
That'll
it.
be cool to shift into though for a season. So that'll definitely really be helpful and engaging, and for sure.
Yeah, it's a thing eventually that will be good.
Thing.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to well, not hop off here, but just kill my cam and stuff real quick to get Jen set up because she wants to come on here.
We'll do the Aaron and Aaron Rip show until you get back.
Yeah, I'll be back in just a second.
All right. So, Aaron. What's on your mind or what's on your heart, Aaron?
Oh. Well, my unborn child.
Somebody's having a COVID baby.
COVID baby. We're having a quarantine baby.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm delighted.
That'll be number 5, 6?
6.
6. It's a good
My
number.
second. 6th.
Between you.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Anything it's going to be a girl?
I do. I do. It's just the way the universe is presenting itself to me.
Has any names or energies come to you yet? And is interacting with it? Or?
Not yet. Tossed around a few ideas and shot most of them out the door.
Hey, if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Her name will come.
Yeah.
Her name will make itself known. She'll make herself known.
Mm-hmm.
In due time. Oh, my back is on my mind.
Yeah.
In this dimension, anyway.
So actually, Aaron's lower back is hurting really, really bad, doing a lot of yard work and some other stuff yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So I've got a massage tool and we worked on a little bit. We're going to work on it some more. But since we're putting out to all you 13 people viewing live and anybody who in the future listens to this, creating a collapsing quantum cliff space-time moment.
Thanks, Jacob.
Of bringing healing and energy and alignment and coherence to help bring into Aaron's own body and energetic system. So if you guys just think that, actually feel what it would feel like to be in alignment in his body and send that energy to him, and then he can filter that through in his own ways and integrate just patterns that help him bring alignment into his body.
Yes, I need you in my body. All of you.
Yeah, I mean, coherence.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And then we'll see. He'll report as it gets better throughout the night. Even if we don't touch you, it's like, oh shit, it's getting better.
It will.
That's the kind of stuff we're creating here. So we'll keep in touch with that. The more we bring awareness to it, the more we bring energy to it. Energy goes where energy flows where attention goes. Mm-hmm. So you're receiving healing, you're receiving coherent, unity, sacred neutral, blah, 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 all those filters, right? What's mine is mine and what's yours is yours ultimately. But you're receiving the coherent energy of connecting with an other or others. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and allowing just resonance and harmony, like there's things we figured out about our bodies that other people haven't. So you can send that energy through feeling or telepathy, right? Or sending imagery or just something like sending you codes to your own body to teach your body how to heal itself. So the sharing of information, unity, choosing to engage each other openly in those ways without fear, Again, like really, there's simple meditations you do, and you have to be in a heart coherence where you know, that you just know what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours, and the things that we connect when we connect to each other are gonna, you just choose inside yourself. It's only gonna be things that are coherent or beneficial to myself and my life also, and to the other person's. And Zach does some incredible meditations, just visualizations going in, and his own takes on those dynamics that really help create that space too inside of you, that feeling, that resonance through imagery and words and cadence and tone.
Is the fire coming through?
Oh, we went big screen.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Either I did it on accident or Zach did that, but he might be bringing on Jen's about to come on. There we go. Jen's getting ready. She's getting all set up. I see you, Jen, backstage. So she looks ready. I'm gonna bring Jen on. Jen, you're on.
Hi. How are you tonight? You look like
Wonderful.
you're having. Yeah, go ahead.
We're around a fire. It's wonderful. How could it be bad?
Yeah. No, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Firesides are always very, very nice.
Mm-hmm. Jen, this is the other Aaron. Other Aaron, this is Jen.
Hello,
Hi,
Jen.
other Aaron. Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you too. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome to have you on the show tonight. That's cool.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The energy is intense. And thank you for all the healing vibrations and love bubbles.
Rainbows and bubbles, Jen.
Rainbows and bubbles. Oh, Jasmine, what did you start? No, I'm just kidding. That's
And
cute.
I got the screenshot of that. I think I put that on the screenshot for the Tiamat episode. I did the Rick and Morty screenshot, and then the scrolling on bottom is Jasmine's quote. I think it has your whole quote in there.
Yeah.
Her whole quote about you. Perfect.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
Rainbows
It's fun,
and
yeah.
bubbles.
It's fun to be able to find like different screenshots from every episode. And I don't overthink it. I just kind of intuitively scrub through it, find something, you know, and just kind of throw it up, man. It's cool. Just let it ride.
Rainbows and bubbles. It makes such a fun image for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. That's bubbles are very interesting because it's you know, science can't explain them. Makes it very, very interesting. So I'll take the bubbles.
No doubt.
We live in a fluid. Pretty rad.
Fluid.
Super fluid, exactly.
And wasn't it you, Jen, who during the slug meditation, that when you were inside of it, you saw just like trillions of bubbles?
Yes, it's funny. I believe that was, yes, it was me.
I think it was me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I'm all separated. I'm so entangled with so many people now. So it's like I'll hear the stories and I get a visual image of that, you know, and so it becomes part of me. But yeah, no, the bubbles, that's right. It was. I went into the stomach and there was. It's accurate. Yeah. So fun.
Cool beans.
Cool beans. So I a
What's
lot
in
of
your
people.
mind and heart, Gentilly?
Yeah, so I was kind of just thinking, I was thinking about coming on tomorrow night so that I would have like more construction to this, but I've been thinking a lot about the show that I would like to do.
Yeah, tell me.
And yeah, I can't even express to you, and I want to say I love you guys so much, and thank you for reaching out. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and share some really, really personal, awesome things. And so as I'm like thinking in my head, I've never done a podcast before, and how, you know, what does that creation look like? And I am thinking currently that I would like to have people's feedback in chat, but I'd really like to be able to have a platform where people can call in, come to the show, and we sit down and we like problem solve what's going on within them, you know, like you've stuffed your issues, they've gone into your tissues, and be able to, I'm a medical intuit, so I really have, I feel like a lot that I can offer to many, many people. And because the more and more we unify, we're all going through the same things currently. So anything that we're sharing and working through and talking about is really raising the consciousness of the world and coming together so that we can actually heal all of this. And so I'm just piecing together what that platform would look like, and it definitely is going to have, you know, the energy work with the sound healings and meditations, but also being able to have it where people actually come on, so that there's more people I can help and reach out to, and then you can do the same. As you heal, others heal. And I just think
I think that sounds great. Like that sounds very similar to what Angela's going to be doing, like her on her deal, just in her own way, like having people call in and just working through whatever issues going on or life story, and then you doing that in your own way, Jen, because you create a realm and an environment that magnetizes people that need you. And you resonate, and you need them. Like, you know, Zach said, we said, like,
exactly.
there's nothing we don't learn from others, like, or for when we're helping others, like there's nothing we're not also learning also.
Yes.
You know, so it's also beneficial both ways. I think it sounds awesome, Jen. I think that'll be great.
Yeah. I really think that like starting that way, and just it's organically coming together. But the more people that are reaching out, you know, I just want to be able to have like a free platform for everyone to be able to just come in, be able to work through that. And then anything more outside of the show, you know, we can talk about. I'll have, you know, my courses and all things available to teach people how to actually heal themselves organically based off of them, because we're all unique, but we also all share a very, very similar story. Our experience is really an experiential of one, but yet, you know, there is so much information that can help us navigate that as we become more and more one. So that's kind of the things that I've been like creating in my mind, and organically just seeing how that like turns out. I've had a lot of opportunities in my past, and I'm wondering if this is like a connect that someone on chat and I had, is I used to do a lot of like public speaking, or going to, you know, groups and meetings and things like that, where, you know, we would come with a topic and be able to discuss that topic and where we would resonate. So there would be like a theme to it, but it's intuitively gathered. I'm overwhelmed. Not overwhelmed is an interesting word. I am filled with just so much love from the magnitude of future, like the people that have reached out to me, and the cool things that we're doing to create the healing platforms. And it's just a new way of doing this. It's oftentimes I've done a lot of like life coaching on the phone and all that, and body work, and I love to work with people, but that only gives me so much time, you know, and to be able to just like, I don't know, I'm really excited about this platform. I mean, I do know I'm excited about this platform, and just to see how it will all organically piece together, because we're all in this together. We're not alone, because we're never alone. Yeah,
100%.
but you know, only me have gone through every single moment, and every single day of my life has only been me. My mother wasn't there for every day. My father wasn't there. Zach wasn't there. You guys weren't there. Like, and same goes for you. So your process is very unique, and it's fun to dissect that and start looking at, you know, where these areas, those issues have been stuffed. And the more we talk about it, and the more we start to release that stuff, the physical issues will just start sloughing off. And it's just time to not navigate life in so much pain. We don't have to live that way anymore. We just have to be daring and willing enough to meet ourselves exactly where we're at right now. And that's like half the battle. Like, once we bring that awareness in, and then after that, once awareness is there, all the answers will just start noetically coming, which is cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
And talking about animal medicines for sure, because that's a big part, and because plant medicines, all of that kind of stuff. I'm gonna cough. Hold on a sec. My throat chakra.
There you go. I do that all the time. Mute the mic and cough.
Really, yes, I did.
Really set on screen. Did Aaron get relief from the folks healing? Just sent healing to his neck and shoulders too. Yeah, How's it feeling? Okay, so before, let's take the previous base is like a 10. What's that now? Pain. Or what was that
4.
before?
Oh, if you're doing like the standard 1 to 10, it was like a 6, 7.
Now
I'm
it's at a 4?
sitting at a 3 or 4 right now. So yes, some
Okay, so
noticeable relief.
effectively, his pain has been cut in half noticeably from like a 6 or 7 to a 3 or 4.
Nice.
So again, bring awareness to it, allows energy to flow to it. And you guys know it is working, so it should boost your own placebo belief catalyst, so that you guys have energy and power to also connect your own hearts and unity and coherence with another random person across the internet and bring healing. This is just how this shit works. It is natural.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fucking amazing.
Yeah. There's no separation.
What do you got
It
now?
all's happening right here. Yep.
It's still stiff, but I don't feel the pain.
So, like, pain-wise, it's down to what?
3 or
Minimal.
4.
Just like a sore 1.
Oh, he's down like 0-1 now.
Oh, and 0-1. Wow,
And he's a
that
little
is
stiff,
awesome.
but the pain's pretty much all gone.
I'm stiff, but the achy, stabby pain is all but gone. So beautiful, people. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Pretty awesome how that works, isn't it? I love this shit.
100%.
It is incredible to be able to not only witness that, but to experience it in yourself as well. Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing. So it's like this stuff carries over for me from the Christian paradigm. Like we do this kind of stuff in different sects of the Christian dynamic, understanding not so much the quantum dynamic. I mean, a little bit, but we'd always tie it into the Christian symbol set, and that's fine. But it's really human being interactive heart-brain coherence. So when you get enough human beings in a heart-brain coherent state, focusing on any one thing, that's where magic happens, man. But it's not magic. It's just science in a sense. It's just connection. It's unity. It's beautiful.
I think I shared that story about Alyssa that was with the liver failure and kidney failure, and the importance, like I was going into the meetings and getting that gathering of energy and that kind of prayers, and then over here into the like Christian paradigm where they're sending out all of those prayers and being able to utilize that energy and focusing it all into one space. The animals as well, I talked about with her dog coming in and being able to just bring that all together really solidifies within the vessel. It's rad, the energy work. It's very, very powerful, and when we just kind of tap into that sense that's been there all along, it's really just seeing that. Arya, that is so interesting. I've been doing yoga for loosening the lower back while listening. Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah,
even that dynamic. So like, and she said in the next one, I didn't even think of the connection. Oops. I didn't even think of the
incredible
correlation to it. He's up standing up, stretching his background. He's very amazed at what is happening right now. He's bending all around. I watched him limping around just an hour ago. I mean, just limping any movement.
My posture is bad.
He's swinging around. He's dipping up and down, doing stretches. Yeah.
I'm about to frolic.
He's about to frolic.
I feel like I should frolic around the
oh my gosh.
You should go frolic.
You should go frolic. Seriously, go play with your...
Really do, because in the church, this is part of the dynamic. You like seal that in by staying in a state of gratitude and joy. And then you just keep burning that into your neurology, what it feels like right now to feel healed. So yeah, go frolic. He's frolicking. Hey, wait, hold on. Do you have a lighter? Very important.
Yeah, go play with that inner child that never really had that pain, and go and play in that space is awesome. I'm playing as an adult and playing on all versions of yourself as the grandparent, even if you're not a grandparent, like all stages, because you are all of things. You're
100%.
everything. Yeah. And no thing.
I love you, Jen. I'm so glad that I'm entangled with you guys now, and it's just great, man.
Yeah, I love you very much, Aaron. I am really looking forward to you coming, and like everyone that's talking in chat on coming together. Like it's just like powers of manifestation. Just see yourself in that space. Literally put yourself there. See what you would be doing there. Imagining that everything comes really easy. I'm telling you, like that stuff just happens. There was a period of time in my life where I needed to get a vehicle, and I I didn't have the means at the moment, but the money was going to be coming in like 2 weeks, but I needed the car now, and I had a hard time asking for help. And so to just think about like asking for like, I think I was going to borrow like something like $2,000 for my friend's car he was selling and all this kind of stuff. And so in that, I was like, well, I absolutely need this. What do I do? And so I decided to go to nature and go to talk to the trees, because it's like, what does money come from, and what is it made of? And then I think of the bandwidth of nature, and so I just go and I start like in my mind and my consciousness start speaking to the trees to spread the message and spread it through the world that this car, like I would need this, and or for the next part of my journey. And I did that, and then I came back and I got the courage to, like ask my friend if I could borrow this, and my friend's like, no, kind of. So I got the no, which it was scary, but at the same time it wasn't, because she said, but I can do one better. And she ended up contacting her parents, and I had actually saved this girl's life through well, anyway, her parents were very much looking for a way to pay me back, and they were like, no, we won't give you this money. So there's this other note, but we will buy you this car. And they ended up buying me a brand new car and a year's worth of insurance, and it
Beautiful.
was amazing. It was amazing. It's just the power of manifestation, the belief, and turning to the things that can actually help you, and not be afraid of those, no's when they come, because those no's can lead to many yeses that are beyond your wildest dreams. They were like, we don't want to go buy you a car that could possibly break down. You're saying this is a $1,200 car. Like, we don't want to do that. And they had the means, and it was amazing to see how, even later them doing that, like how that pays forward in the process. It really is a very amazing world out there. And so what I say to chat, like, let's come together and just take that time where you just sit there and imagine being there. This is like that campfire right there. Imagine being right there and experiencing all the things. See if you can remote view what the rest of that property looks like. Create the details. And it will happen. It will happen easily. Not hard, easily. You just set that intention. The universe wants to help. It's just, what are you choosing? Like the negative when you're cycling that stuff, or go and create that positive, because it doesn't know the good or bad or right or wrong. So that's what I would say. Aaron, this is cool.
I know.
Yeah.
Is that going adjusting the camera on the fire and shit?
Yeah, that's awesome. How long are you going to be staying up there?
Just for tonight, and we'll probably be up most of the night. We've got different substances to find harmony in relationship with, and we're gonna have a great night.
Nice. And I didn't catch where you're at right now in Washington.
We're up in just past Sequim in Port Angeles.
Oh,
West.
Port Angeles is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. So close to Deception Pass. Are you going to go to Deception Pass? Please tell
I took
me.
that way home last time, I think. Yeah, because we actually, my stepdad had for the first like 10 years of their marriage, when we were kids, they had a summer place that he grew up, like him and his dad and stuff built this place. It was right on the water, right? You can literally see Deception Pass right down the water.
What?
Right down and then like his property was right on the water there, right by Deception Pass. So yeah, I spent a lot of time doing fires down there by Deception Pass too.
So rad. For many of you, if you haven't been to Deception Pass, it's where the Puget Sound meets the ocean, and it's just a magical spot.
No, I tell you what. So we spend a lot of time out there. You watch the buoy. There's buoys out in the current, right out in the middle that you can hook up a boat to or whatever. You watch that buoy when there's no current, when it's at a slack tide. It's not. It's straight up right in front of the property. When it's either way, because the tide comes hardcore, like riptide coming in and then riptide coming out. Yeah. So that buoy will be like 20 feet left or 20 feet right, because the current is just insane.
Wow, that is amazing. Wow, there's an island out there that somebody owns, and you have to like kayak to it, but you can go and stay on it. I think you have to maybe rent it. I'm not sure, but you can't. It's not easy actually. So you have to go by boat to get there. But I've always kind of wanted to go and like be on an island in the middle of Deception Pass, one up it. But that is probably like among my most favorite places in the world, and I've done a lot of healing there.
Oh,
well, nice. I think for our Washington fearless expanded gathering, our proposed gathering, we should just rent an island.
Yeah.
Kayak out
Why
to the
not?
island.
Let's
Yeah.
say that island only costs like $500 a night, but there was 20 of us coming, you know,
Or
Or
yeah, or, I mean, if it's an island,
40 or
well,
100, you know, like
yeah.
really, like when you look at the amount, you know, and I imagine it might not even be that expensive, you know, because how many people are actually kayaking over to this island and, you know, renting it. So
I'd also take a moment, even based on what Jen was saying. I don't know if Bill shows up here in the camera, but there's a chair right between Aaron and I, right behind us.
yeah,
And that chair is open for anyone in the audience to come tune in here, astrally, whatever. Just envision yourself being here and
Yeah.
come join the conversation, literally right here in between us. It's a
I
spot
love it. I
right
love
here.
it. Yeah. See, that's the spot you go to. We all go there, sit there,
Right here.
see that, create that space. I love it. And if Charlotte's on here, Charlotte, we were talking about if we were to all go to Maui, we could all maybe like if there was like like even 40 of us, but to rent a private plane is actually like it's a few $1,000s. But if there
Really?
was so many of us,
Yeah.
yeah, that like literally it would cost us near nothing
No,
to
even
actually like
yeah,
fly
even
there.
like 20 of us.
And we
It's like
could do
$200
like
a person.
do medicine up in the air. You know, we could do so
Wow.
many things
Great
on our way
thinking,
to
Jen.
Maui. Yeah, so I
Great
didn't
thinking.
mention that in the comments, but Maui's on the radar. But
Yeah, no
how do we
doubt.
get all to Hawaii very, very affordably? Yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway,
100%.
yeah. So we should maybe perhaps create the like GoFundMe page for our whole
It's
trip
in
there or
Vortex.
something.
Exactly. We'll do it.
Yeah, put our
Group
total
meeting.
vortex there. Exactly.
Once we-
Charlotte will
once
be
we-
so surprised we show up with a gazillion people. She's like, "Oh man!" But at the same time, we'll all have our hammocks and tents and be able to go all over the island, it's a very cool island. Maui is.
Yep.
Save me a seat. Hell yeah, Tiffany, of course. Yes. I love it. So, I mean, there's so many creative ways that, you know, once you all unify together, that like literally traveling could be so actually simple. It's just,
And I talked about this before, but Tiffany Sains, like I sold her car back in 2008. I worked for Toyota. I sold cars for 8 months. And I
Yeah.
sold her car, and then she came into the channel. She's been here most of the episodes, I think, and tuned in with the group, and that's just cool, man. The way synchronicity works. I literally have not seen her talk. I think I found her on Facebook earlier this year and chatted a little bit, but other than that, like I haven't seen her in 12 years. You know? Cool.
Oh, wow.
Hi, Tiffany.
Well, it sounds like Tiffany and I actually have quite a number of different friends we found out on, because she Facebook stalked me, you see? No, just kidding, Tiffany.
That's how it works. It's normal.
No.
You mean you
No.
check someone out like normal? You just checked out.
No, you mean you looked at my page and it just said mutual friends? Here's the number. They already do it.
Yeah.
It's funny.
For sure.
But it's really interesting because one of the people I knew very well, because he started like a part of like he started the program when I started this program, and so and I'm not in that anymore, but that's how I do know him. And it's very funny. It's such a small world. It really, really is.
Yeah.
It's rad. Yeah.
Well, it's cool that we're just creating a community, and then it's creating a small world. People know each other, interconnections, and all that shit. It's great.
Yeah. Well, it's the vibration, man. We're just on that like vibration, and
on that vibration, brah.
On that vibration, exactly. Exactly. Yes, I love it.
Ride the wave.
Are you guys gonna do s'mores tonight?
Yeah. Joanna was doing them earlier with their son Silas.
We have. Yeah.
Whoa, you already did it.
You have where are the marshmallows?
She took them in.
Oh, boo. They've got apparently now. They've got square marshmallows. Like it's one big marshmallow, but it fits the like half of a graham cracker perfectly.
Oh, what? That is amazing.
How cool is that?
That's rad. That's really rad. That's a second new marshmallow I've heard this year. This year, I ended up going to a Thanksgiving that that ended up being a vegan Thanksgiving, and I don't know if you've ever tried vegan marshmallows before, but she made the like sweet potatoes and put these vegan marshmallows on top. Holy crap, they like caramelized. They were the most delicious marshmallows I've ever had in my life. And I just like seriously, my mouth is watering right now talking about them. So if you ever guys get a chance, go get some vegan marshmallows, some sweet potatoes, and some maple syrup, and make some freaking delicious sweet.
Dude, that
Oh my
sounds
gosh, they
amazing.
are. Oh, so delicious. Yeah, so
Nice.
I'm gonna have to try these new square ones so that I can make easy s'mores. I like it.
Jasmine says that she's got marshmallows that are the size of her fist.
What? That is incredible.
What do you do
Oh
with
my
that?
gosh.
Like you could stick it in the whole cup, like hot cocoa cup, this giant fist-like marshmallow, and then just bore out a hole in the middle, and pour your hot chocolate in there. Done. Genius.
Oh. Wow.
What the hell? That is totally genius.
That is 3D,
Oh my gosh.
3D pleasure alchemy. That's what that is.
That is. Did you guys ever play the game when you were a kid where you got those like bigger marshmallows? Not you could do it with the small marshmallows, but it's the bigger ones that make it really funny. But you put you put it in your mouth and then you say chubby bunny, and then you keep like you play the game. So you just like all of a sudden you're just like filled with marshmallows, and whoever gets the most in and says chubby bunny wins. Oh man.
We did that at a bunch of youth gatherings, like growing up. Yeah, those fun games and shit. Yeah, and trying to chug a gallon of milk and all that kind of shit. Yeah, fun shit.
My god, that's not a fun game, Aaron. That is not
It's
a
not
fun
for the
game.
people playing.
Oh no,
Fun to watch,
yeah,
though.
you're right. Everyone else, it is fun. I didn't ever see that one at any of the Christian parties, but definitely a lot of drunk people were definitely on board with that one.
No doubt. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
So it really said, if you're a peanut butter lover, about 20 years ago camping, I put peanut butter on the graham cracker, then added the marshmallow and chocolate. That is a excellent idea, and we may have to get peanut butter.
We need to go get peanut butter.
Yeah.
Wait,
That
if
sounds
you've
amazing.
camping, I have a few
That sounds absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I need some sugar to balance out my cigarette.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Really, really. That sounds amazing. We used to do s'moreos, which we would actually make s'mores with Oreos instead of graham crackers.
Yeah.
So that was delicious. Yeah. Yeah.
Dig it.
S'moreos. Yeah. Yeah. You should
We might
try
have
that
Oreos
one.
too. We might have a lot of s'more concoctions tonight.
Yeah, you should try that. That one's a delicious concoction that we created. Actually, I will credit my sister Marty for that one. She definitely came up with it. I also remember we would roast Starburst too on the fire.
Really? Interesting.
They were pretty good. Yeah. But we definitely grew up camping a whole lot. I did anyway.
I used to stick all the marshmallows I could on my dad's face when he would fall asleep before he'd wake up from his couch naps. LOL.
Oh, what a stinker! That's like the stinker.
Right on. Well, she wasn't drawing in permanent marker like cock and balls on his face. So
oh, that's totally true. It's way funny. It's a way better choice for sure. For sure.
I don't know. If you did that to your dad though, that's a great story.
Yeah.
I would like to hear something like, one time my dad was asleep and I drew cock and balls on his face. He wasn't very happy. Beat the shit out of me. But it was worth it.
God, so worth it. Oh my gosh. That is funny. No, I never thought about doing something like that to my dad. He probably would actually be pretty comical about it. He probably would handle it pretty well.
Yeah.
My dad's just definitely not like a freak out yeller kind of person. So he could have done something like that with him.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, Jasmine. I missed the boat. Someday. Oh wait, I missed that. You took it away.
Yeah, we read that one. I think. Oh.
Okay.
There you go.
Every tastes better cooked. Everything does taste better for sure over a fire. Yeah. It's like fish, whatever it is, tastes delicious over a fire. At charcoal. Yeah. Or charcoal.
And you should get a fish. Space Jesus. Let's cook some space fish over the fire.
Space fish.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I've had
space fish. Yeah, like put your. I don't know, like we would go catch trout, as a kid, and like rainbow trout, and like Yeah, and we would like put it in tin foil and cook it on the fire with like tartar sauce, like that. Oh gosh, like even makes my
Ooh, that
mouth
sounds
water. I have
awesome. No
not
doubt.
had that since I was a kid. The only downside to trout is it's very bony, so you have to like get past the bony part. But other
Maybe
than that,
maybe we'll
super
get like some.
delicious.
We can do that when we're down there for the fire. We can get some salmon or some shit. Put some butter
Yeah,
and some lemon and whatever on there, and
salmon,
just like cook on the fire.
very good,
That's awesome.
very good for sure. Yeah.
Cool. It's in the
Got
vortex.
it. Totally in the vortex, guys. Look what we're creating already. Like we've got
Yep.
our food sources planned.
Dude,
Yeah.
really, like all this talk, really, it's just talk, right? Because it's like we're not gonna nail this. Like, oh, we're definitely one night gonna have s'mores around the fire. It's like, yeah, if it happens, it happens. It's in the vortex, man. We'll just keep putting all that shit in, so that when we just show up
Yeah.
there, we just walk into
Yeah.
beautiful shit every day because we're putting the vortex, and then whatever unfolds, and it's gonna be fucking
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Exactly. I totally believe in that, and it does work like that. It really does. When you,
Amen, sister.
amen. Yeah.
Jasmine
So what do
said my
you?
grandparents. Hold on.
What?
So Jasmine said my grandparents like to cook Pizzoli and menudo over the fire outside. Usually we do that when we have bonfires and tamales.
What is? Wait, it is pozzoli, and yeah, I've never had that. I've never had that, Jasmine. What?
Is that a type of fish, or what is it? What's Pizzoli?
Pizzoli is a soup, I think.
That's a soup.
Yeah.
Menudo over the outside usually.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, and tamales. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah, we could have all sorts of different food. I'm thinking about it because I really, really would love to just like have an area where we could just have a community that people can just come to. And oh wow,
Oh, okay.
yum. Over
Yeah,
the
super yum.
fire. Yummy.
Yeah.
Jasmine, you have to make it to Washington because we must have this. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I
You are
love it.
making me hungry. Fucking soup, man.
Yeah. Back to food again. That is awesome. But I just think it would be so cool to just be able to come together and all like as that community, that eating together and making food together and like just having that safe space. And I think that's very much like where we might be headed. And I want to be able to have a platform that everyone can, like, we can all come together and have a space like that.
Okay,
like
speaking
Joe
of
is
which,
looking right now to go get a farm. And so we're really
Yeah.
actually in the works of doing that currently. So
Awesome.
it's rad.
So what's Zach showing us on the screen here? I don't know if he knows he's on the screen, but if he
I
is,
don't know.
talk
Donald
about Zach.
Trump
What
is
are we
like,
watching?
I don't know. For some reason, Donald Trump just came on and was like, no,
Dude,
no, no.
have you seen me and Aaron were laughing about it earlier. Somebody posted in the Fearless family, Chris Lopez, right? A GIF, and I've seen it before, but I couldn't find it on the internet because I wanted to send it to some people. And the Fearless one, you can't repost, right? And you can't save it. It's a GIF, but it's of Trump and Obama. It's called Obamagate.
Oh,
and it's
yeah,
like,
they were
where
going.
they're slapping each other. That's where they're
Yeah.
slapping each other. Dude, it's so well done. It is so funny.
Yeah, no,
It's
that
so
is
well done.
funny. Well, they were
Zach,
walking him to the police car. They were like, they were the police officers arresting Obama, right? Is it that GIF you
Yeah.
were talking about? Yeah, but I think they were using the
No.
snickering heads where they were.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's that one where he's arresting Obama. There's that one too. It's good. That
Yeah.
one's really well done. But it's like that. But no, it's like two big, huge buff dudes. They put Obama's face and Trump's face on them just the same way. But they're literally standing at this table, everyone's around, and they're slapping each other. One big full body is hitting him as hard as he can slap. Right.
Oh,
So Obama.
no.
Yeah. So Obama does it to Trump, and as Trump like gets hit through his face, he does that Trump just like smug look, like it's nothing.
Oh my gosh,
Right? And then the body he's on, Zach, if you can find this, pull this up. It's in the Fearless group. Chris Lopez posted it, and see if you can find that GIF. It should be one of the recent ones from the last today.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's totally watch that. That'd be funny.
It's so
I'd
well
like
done.
to see it. Yeah, I'd like to see it. It'd be cool.
Yeah. And let's see. This is a reality. See, we had a cornfield in the backyard. Everyone would come pick corn, and we'd grill them, grind them, and make them tamales. Oh yeah, you read that one earlier. Yeah. And this will be a reality someday soon. Sam says, full body communicating. Yes, Pizzoli is like a soup made out of pork, shoulder, or chicken with Mexican chilies and lots of awesome flavors. Yeah, it looks awesome. Let's get together and feel, all right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like we're doing that in here right now. We're feeling so all right. I love it. Get going.
Let's see. Is Zach pulling up that GIF? Do you know? You're there with
I
him.
know. Hold on,
Go
let me
have
go
fun.
check. Hold on, I'm hustling.
Yeah. I love this dynamic. It's cool.
It's so cool.
He is pulling it up. There he is. Cool. All right, come back, Jen. Come back. Awesome. Yeah. This is so well done. Let's watch it a couple times. Watch his face in the replay.
Oh, shit. Oh.
That's so well
man.
done.
Nothing.
Well done, Zach. Boom. Dude, that's so fucking well done.
That is so awesome.
See, that's the kind of politics I like to follow. The funny ass shit, man, making a joke out of the shit that's going on, right? I mean, there's a lot of serious shit going on for sure, but on one level, I think all that stuff's going to clear itself out. You know, might be a little chaos in the meantime, and that's fine. But this is the kind of stuff that's going to last. These are the cultural memes, man. This is the stuff people are going to remember. Not all the, like, once we get past this time and that the actual pain and suffering people are going through, for sure. Right? But when we can move through this construct, because really it's a construct collapsing, and to me, it's one of their final plays to try to get us into the whole, you know, all their agenda shit. I don't think it'll follow through. And that's going to be because of people standing up and different things for sure, and doing different things legally that nobody ever hears about, doing things, you know, on the streets that maybe people never really see. And that's fine. Like, all that stuff's real and a part of it. But there's coming a time as we move through that when we can be able to not look back at the past and have pain, but to integrate the trauma from those scenarios and heal the trauma so we can have the memories, but they're not charged with the trauma anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think we give so much often we've been giving so much power to our memories, and our memories just aren't even accurate representations of our past. We can only remember them to the dimensionality that we were, and when we replay those, and the more traumas that get stacked on top of it, the more emotional lenses get placed upon it. And and if it's not, in the end, it's not an accurate view of that past. It's like, why, you know, it's that process of just making that decision to let it go and not give it power anymore. So yeah, it's healing that for sure. I love it. I love it. All your awake people, space travelers, you are all fake news. That's what he was saying. Yeah. Oh, Trump is interesting. Yeah.
Trump is hilarious. I'm sorry, man. If you can dissociate from all the other politics stuff, I get it, right? But he is hilarious.
Like,
man. To have a
on
politician
a
like him
hands
in
down,
office.
like he is very, very, very enjoyable to watch.
No doubt.
Very enjoyable. No doubt.
Okay, so Willow says detaching from memories has been difficult for me. Okay, something I found really helpful is tapping. When I found EFT tapping, and there's a lot of different forms like advanced EFT, I mean, really kind of intuit your own ways once you understand you're disrupting parts of the nervous system.
Yeah.
So when you're bringing up traumatic memories, if you're feeling into it or experiencing, I know where you're triggered. I mean, I've done this thousands of times over the years on different subjects that are just really intense to process or trauma. And then, you know, to grab your wrists and all the meridian points there. There's a lot of ways to do it. And you say, you know, shalom, wholeness, unity, you know, void space. I mean, whatever works for you, really, just like you're settling, anchoring that in. And so as you're going through rough memories, being able to do this disrupts them from going down their spiral to just the really bad place. Like, this really helps to disrupt those pathways. And you can say affirmations or change the energy that, like what you said the other night to me, Jenna, which I did a bunch the next day. Energy flows without restriction, right?
Yeah.
And
I felt it. I just felt it. That's awesome. Yeah.
And even then, energy flows without restriction. Same thing. You're tapping. You're creating an actual. I mean, I can hear it tinking on my skull, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And it's hitting those actual meridian points and energetic lines. So it's allowing your nervous system to take in new information. So every time you bring up a memory, that memory is only as old as the last time you brought it up. Period.
That's right.
It's neuroplasticity. So when you bring it back up, you can add new layers. You can heal the trauma. You can. One of the things in the church that I realized when they do these techniques through that symbol set. So one of the verses in the Bible is that Christ says, I'm always with you, meaning even before you acknowledged him or realized he was real or there, he's always been with you in the unseen. So then they're like, okay, well, where was Christ when I was getting molested? Right. and to go back through that memory. And one of the times I was going through this healing process and remembering being in that moment, going step by step through, and then the practitioner asked me, she says, okay, so where is Jesus in this picture? And immediately it came to my awareness that he was right there with me, crying through the situation, that it broke his heart too, because it's my heart, it's Christ in me, right? It's just seeing the anguish of our own
You were there.
soul over the pain that our avatar has to go through, because it matters, man. It really fucking matters. And so to see yourself, even asking yourself in memories, okay, I know my higher self, my soul has always been present with me somewhere. Maybe I wasn't aware or dissociated. So to go into those memories and just with that intention to look and find, where am I, the higher version of me that's not affected by this trauma, that can see the big picture, that's had many lifetimes, that can put this into context, that can help this energy move through without restriction.
Yes. And so it is. So I love that, Aaron. I love that so much. I think that's really great advice and very, very helpful to anyone listening out there. Seriously. Another addition that I do and did is going back to that trauma. Like, it can't hurt you now. But this version of yourself, like, you look at yourself now and you think about that little being that was maybe not protected, like you were talking about, where was Jesus in that moment? And then you could go back and you're like, oh, there he was, or however that was.
100%.
But you go back into that space because you were there. You were there.
That's right.
You are the one that has been with you every moment of every ounce of every day.
100%.
And this dimensionality self wouldn't fucking let that happen, right?
Yeah.
So you go back there, you protect that little girl, that little boy, and you find what was lost in that space. You go and whatever you need to do to that person, that thing, or whatever you perceive that trauma, you rewrite it. You rewrite it anyway, all the time, as I was saying, to the dimensionality you are. So you go back, take your power, and rewrite your story however you want. And anytime those thoughts come up, because they're entities, they have power, they've been operating inside of you, they egoically don't want to let go. So just be that observer, and when those thoughts come in, go, oh, there it is again. Don't feed it, let it just go, right? It's, oh, there it is again, and then it flows, and it's like a snake. If you don't feed it, it can't live within you. So observe where you're at now. Yep, there it is. But if you have gone back into that space, see that space, experience it, remember what was on the walls. Maybe you left something behind there, a piece of you behind. Go take it back. And these people that victimized us, like, aren't doing that today and now. It's you that's doing it. They only did it the one time. Every time after that is always you repeating that cycle. The victim becomes the victimizer. Stop it. You are not the victim, and you are not the victimizer. Go back in that space and love the shit out of yourself there. And if you have to kill that thing, that person, then do it. If you're not that way within your mind, then find your way to rid them. But don't allow that power to be inside. Like, I think about how we share bandwidth, and I don't want to share bandwidth with that person that did that thing. They can't be in my space anymore. I take my power back. I release them. And it's important, especially to the path of self-love, because if you are identifying ever as a victim and you are not healing this trauma, you are a victimizer. Hurt people. And our higher selves don't. We speak love and the purity of that. So allowing your space, whatever you need to, erasing that memory, getting rid of it, like your strength and your power is already there. You don't need the actual stories anymore to help other people. If that's why you want to hold on, it's not serving you, nor would it serve the other person, because we don't want to trauma share. We want to be able to stay in our space and be able to say, here's the solution. Here's the answer to that riddle, and so Yeah, and the tapping, neurological. I did a lot with the EMDR, where it's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
left brain, right brain, working with that, so that you're
yeah.
not really you're like you naturally do your brain, Aaron. Amazing. It's like that, but
Yeah.
it really is. It's being able to
It's
pull in that logical side, and that's the
yeah,
biggest thing. When you go back in that space, be the creator, but also bring in the logic, because they can't hurt you now. You can do whatever you want in that creative space. And
mm,
anytime it comes up or plagues you, no, this is your story now. This is the path you're on now. And see yourself in then the future without being bogged down and held back with that past. Take it forward, take it backwards, and bring it to the center.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's what
also
I
like
think.
an additional like layer to that too. So like when so I try to find ways any way that I can and encountering those traumas of the past or different memories or things to integrate it, to cleanse the trauma, because to me the trauma is a dissociation. So it's a fractal of me within myself, my own psyche, my own brain, somewhere in cellular memory or somewhere in the tissues, right? Or in the neurology, where this memory is playing a loop cycle that is feeding my system with pain or trauma
Right,
or shame or blame
right.
or guilt or just shit, right?
Yep.
That runs in the background. So being able to find those frequencies where that's running, move into that memory and find ways to heal, to be present. Like when I saw that Jesus was with me or myself was with me and he was crying with me, like realizing, oh, like the soul that's inside of me actually cared and was broken and having in trauma also, and knowing, like being able to tune to the higher perspective, knowing that I plan my life plan in these certain ways, and being able to really bring the ego up to a higher perspective. It's not just this life. It's not just this trauma. Oh, why me? Why did this happen? Like really, let's logically think about it. We can trace karma lines. We can trace how we set our life up in certain ways. It's a variable. There's free choice. This shit happened. It sucks. And process through all those emotions like I talked about in another show. But then being able to ultimately though, like that part of me, there's no charge there for me. Like obviously I just talked about memory several times. There's zero negative charge. It's only a beautiful story to me now. And his energy, like his traumas are his traumas and they're not mine. He was molested as a kid. I mean, that the average pedophile, I verified this with the chief the chief detective for the SVU unit in Seattle that was working with us during that whole case for a year and a half. And the average pedophile, when they get caught, has over 350 victims on like just their computer hard drives and shit. 350. Okay. And that not a single child molester that they found hasn't also been molested. So it's generational trauma that's carried on. Doesn't mean they don't have to take responsibility for their behavior. He's in jail and he will be most likely for the rest of his life. And so I hope he connects to his soul and all that shit. Great. But the repeat offense rate too. So he got the longest sentence you can get in Washington. There's only 2 ways to get a life sentence nowadays. And one's through like first degree homicide and first degree rape of a child. And so he got 23 years to life, which was the maximum sentence. And because pedophiles, no matter how good behavior they are, when they come up for parole, they have 100% repeat rate when they get out. 100%.
Yeah. Well, it's an entity,
So,
man.
right. So
It
being able
exists inside.
to work with them, even in the jails. I mean, at some point I've seen different groups and like, because there's no charge for me there to go work with pedophiles. Like, yeah, I was molested. So I have the right to be angry and hate you. And like, here's something I didn't talk about in when I talked about it before. So there's the actual hearing, the judgment, against him. But then before making the judgment, all the victims or anyone really that wanted to address him in court could. And, several people did, other family members, like parents of some of the kids. And, all of it mainly was trying to get him to see the weight of the pain he's caused others and that they'll never forgive him. I mean, that was a lot. That was pretty resounding. Right.
Right.
And when I got up there, because I'd processed, I was a year and a half in, I'd processed a lot of my own trauma, a lot of my own healing. And I was able to say, repeat in my own way, like to acknowledge the pain of what he's stolen from us and taken from us. But I forgive you, and I love you.
Good.
And so it was just really, really powerful shit, so all that stuff, completing a cycle of healing that trauma in my life, being able to confront the accuser, all that shit. Not that you have to. Again, you can do this in your mind. You can have these own interactions. What's this? Oh, thanks. Yeah.
It's interesting about confronting. Oh, are you talking, other Aaron?
Oh, he gave me some mint Kit Kat bars.
Oh, yummy. Yeah. Whatever is necessary that you find. Hold on, I'm gonna cough because my throat chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Our project separated nicely.
Cool.
Very nicely. The heat was
no big difference.
Yeah. I'm excited.
We're working on some alchemy.
Cool. That's really awesome that you could find that forgiveness in you, Aaron. And I definitely feel oftentimes that if there is a way that you can cut that bandwidth and that connection with the person as fast as you can, to do it, because you don't want to be connected with them anymore. And again, like I was talking about, going and taking back your power and forgiving the person. Honestly, our higher selves would never do that. This world is duality, is how it has been operating. So when you have, you're gonna have the sexual predators. They're just gonna exist. It's just keeping that balance, and they're making their choices to not stop that behavior. But again, it is a spirit that resides in order to keep that duality going. And so being able to understand that their highest self would never do that. And if that means you need to go tell the person, I mean, that's your path. My thing, I've had both ways where I have gotten to confront I've had both ways. And I guess overall, I feel like however you can find your way to heal that within you, it's not an external process. It's a very much internal process. And you were under a situation where you were actually able to, I guess, speak with a person. But yeah, I've dealt with a lot of people, and just across the board when it comes to the sexual traumas. And and my biggest thing is go and heal yourself and love yourself and learn how to let that go. And these things that we're talking about here will be what helps you learn how to do that. It's been a very sick world. Like some of the documents that I've seen says that we've been in World War III since the 1950s, and it's a silent war, and they've been pumping us full of all of this stuff, these violent crimes, and all, just making it bigger and bigger. And it's we're none of that. We're more than that. And the more we rise up and not accept that negative, the more power you'll get within. And it is through that self-digging, and it's following that noetic path, that next indicated step. It's like I was saying, when I had theorized that my fat cells were just stored trauma, which then that meant there was quite a bit of it. So where do you begin? When you ask that question to the universe, they'll start to bring how to do that. You know, they'll bring this person that reminds you of that, or some kind of memory that will be jogged, and within that space go, okay, that's where I begin. And learning to love yourself in that space, and going back. And I think the easiest thing when you go and think about that little being that you once were is the easiest way to find the compassion to your heart. Because man, I remember like being this 6-year-old girl, like sitting on the side of the road in front of my house. I used to like make these rock things and put mud and like plants in them, and I just like they would be my creations. And in the process of doing that, I would always be talking to my older self. Like I was anywhere between the ages of 26 to 36, and I went through where I had hypnotized myself and placed myself back into now the role that I was. I was the age of that girl now, or that woman that my 6-year-old self was talking to. And I would go back and I would have the dialogue with her. Like I open that space. Your heart has opened that space, and it exists. I think going back and first having that compassion and knowing that you're going to go save that person and learning how to play with them again is huge. Yeah. I'm glad that you had that opportunity to forgive something that was so big, Aaron. That is a big message to share, because honestly, stop. It's not them anymore. Like good riddance. I have it. Like you said something about free choice. I think our free will, I just don't think it really exists right now in the way that we say, like, I have this free will. I think that many things have been operating within our structures, and we just
Right.
have not actually had that. And that's what
Well,
we're
so, like,
after.
and so, yeah, and like even in that experience, so thinking about it also in the framework, there's a lot of ways to integrate, to heal. It's really whatever works for you, whatever imagery, whatever symbol sets. And like, so with my connection to him, realizing that he was siphoning off some of my own bandwidth because of that fractal in time that wasn't fully integrated into my own acceptance of that experience, because I didn't want to deal with it. It was a trauma, it was dissociated. But then when I chose to accept that that experience was a reality that happened in this avatar's lifetime, because it matters, right? And then being able to go into that space and connect to myself, which disconnected his siphoning off of my own bandwidth. So it's reconnecting me to my own bandwidth. I'm not losing anything. Nothing was actually lost there. The only time that was lost when I dissociated and I didn't know how to deal with it. But now I've learned how to deal with it. And so I can go in, you face your own fears, you know, entheogens and things are great for that too, but it's your own meditations, your own awareness of self. And then you can go in and reclaim all that bandwidth as if you never lost it. Snap it backwards, forward, and backwards in time.
Yes.
We regain everything we lost. There's nothing that we have lost we will not regain 1,000-fold, really. You just keep taking the one steps, one time, heal yourself, you heal the world. You just keep following your own heart, your own intuition.
Yeah.
And you're just going to be just fine, man.
Wow. How did you even think to that thought to do that? Like the bandwidth, and I mean, how did that come to you? Like, what was that experience like?
Yeah. Well, part of it's just frameworks, right? So even talking about with you or other people or just processing it over time, I see it in different layers or perceptions or angles, circumambulation. And so being able to just talk about the subject more, I'm allowing myself even to go into it again, hold up neuroplasticity, find maybe other layers of perceptions that I haven't seen yet, and add another layer, another facet of perception, getting a new layer of my own bandwidth back, because we're going back into the memory just by bringing attention to it. And energy flows where attention goes.
Yes.
And our attention on that subject is for healing, for understanding, for integrating, for learning, all that shit. So, well, of course, when we look at it again, we're going to find new layers of that. And so that bandwidth one was just an expression that came out through us talking about tonight. Help me see it another way.
Awesome.
Good timing.
I love it.
Well done.
Oh, well done. Well done. That was so perfect. I love it. And then my next question is, acceptance is a really hard thing to come to. Did you, what was the process of coming? I hear the part of acceptance and the bandwidth, but was it through that experience that you gained acceptance, or was it acceptance before and then blanketing it in?
Yeah, no, thank you. It's a great question. So it adds other facets. So part of my process of actually because when I initially decided to come forward with it, which I don't know what episode's in, but I go into the story in detail, but I initially decided to come forward. It was on the news. Other kids had come forward, or another kid who's my age, his younger brother, it just happened to him when he was 13. And so he came forward to his parents because it happened to him too, from the same guy. And so I joined them, and they were the first ones to go forward, and I'll always honor them for that. And I joined them in that fight, right, publicly. I mean, it's on the news, it's whatever. And I remember when the detectives came and interviewed me, one of the things they had me do was redraw out the layout of his home, as I can remember it, every detail, like the bird's eye layout, what was in each room, all that shit. And like, as I was going through that, they're asking details. They were really gentle and really nice about it, you know. But I remember as I was going through that, I was remembering shit I did not remember before, and that wasn't fun, right? I draw out a detailed map, and like being able to go through those details brought up new layers of where I thought I was, because I was telling him too, like, look, he needs to be punished for what he's done, blah blah blah, but I forgive him. Like, I was already there at the beginning, and because I knew it was the right answer, but I really believed it, and I did have layers of forgiveness, but there were definitely more layers, right? So as time went on, like going with counselor, being able to identify what was stolen from me at that age, which I hadn't really made that correlation before, then I got incredibly angry. I had dreams about murdering this son of a bitch in incredibly bloody ways for a while. Right. And just allowing myself to go through that process, knowing that's a process, that's energy that's flowing through me, that's valid. My avatar was wounded, violated, stolen from me, has every right to feel every emotion.
Fucking take that power back. Fuck yeah.
100%.
I get it.
100%. So going through all this process, another book that the counselor introduced me to was, I'm trying to remember the name of it now, but it's basically it was using the metaphor of a transformation, that once you're in Christ, or once you're connected with your soul, yourself, that you are no longer the same. You're a new creation. The old is gone, the new has come. You're a butterfly now. You can't go back. If you're gonna be a caterpillar again, you're just a dumbass butterfly crawling around on the ground. They're like, why don't you fly, dummy? Like, you're already a butterfly. You know, why are you crawling around on the ground, yo?
That's
And
right.
so,
Right.
so
Yeah.
being able to really grasp that internally and apply that in more and more ways. What was on the screen? I didn't see it.
He just had this silly face. I don't know. Do it again, Zach. Oh God.
Awesome.
So good. I love it. It's a comic relief to the heady conversation potentially,
Totally.
you know? Like, it's so rad. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Hold on. Joseph said you said the process of coming.
Oh, Joey. You said doo-doo today. I'm calling you out. You do that sometimes. Oh, man. That was sick. I love it.
So yeah, so on layers of like self-acceptance, it was layers. It was a little bit at a time. I find different layers. They were hard. You know, at that time I didn't know tapping. I would have been doing that then. But like, you know, it was where it's sometimes it's just time. It takes 3D time to work through traumas. I mean, as much as like I can sum up here and distill in like how to do tapping and walk through emotions, and you can too. But really, that's people trying that on their own, playing with it. You don't have to use the exact same framework, but just take your own time. Next time you go to meditation, like really, you have to do the work in that sense. We're just providing frameworks and tools in our own personal experiences, but you know, you have to go into yourself and find those traumas, man. And then honestly, ideally, you figure out your own traumas. Like the most beautiful thing to me to watch happen, I watched it with Zach all the time, right? And watch you do it too on the show and everything. So it's like being able to in a conversation to when you realize your own trauma, your own shortcoming, you're able to process through it. You're able to, like, I don't have to say shit, you know, like I just love watching Zach process through his own shit, man. I know he loves the same about me. And with people who just like really, it's self-illuminated masters. When you're around other people that are figuring out their own shit and you just watch them figure out their own shit, holy shit, it's so fucking, what a precious thing to observe. And it's so amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. There's nothing, it's a grand to watch people come and meet themselves and learn to heal themselves like that. It's awesome. And we have those answers. Like the way I did it isn't exactly the way that you need to do it, but that is like bringing the information so that you can flow that in so that you can go and find that power. And that's like sharing your stories and being so brave to say, yes, this happened to me. And is really, really phenomenal.
So it's like, it's getting to the place of being able to turn your mess into a message. Right. So you can be 100% authentic about your life, even when you're in the middle of a mess. You know, I'm sure who knows when things go on, me and Zach on every night. There's probably gonna be times like shit, like even Zach today, he's a little drained, a little just like focused on all the media stuff. You know, like there's gonna be times we're going through shit and it just is what it is. We're all human. We're all working through shit. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. Like when you do a show like this every day, you get to like really show more authenticity to where you really are, and and you'll watch the consistency. But you know, we all get affected where things can irritate us. And sure enough, I mean, Zach today he spent so many freaking hours with 489,608 wires to like do this and that, and you know, like. It's trying, you know, and I think he did great, and we're all in our spaces, and when we put ourselves out there, it's what you get to see and how it works, because we're all healing.
And Will said my life is definitely a mess, and that's the thing. So it's like, look, a beautiful person said this to me, and it's always resonated. But a beautiful person to me is someone who has healed themselves enough to help heal another. And you know what? That's just about everybody. You just may not realize it yet or believe that about yourself. It's true. Right. You know, so you healed from something in your life. So you find other people, maybe like things we're talking about, that help you find new ways to heal yourself. But you've already learned some ways. So you really can help somebody. Really. That's why we're all valuable. All of our experiences are incredibly valuable.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Yeah, I love that. And that is that process of sharing. And that's why, like, back to the show, like, that's what I was thinking about. Like, definitely, like, this show, too, is doing that. And, like you said, Angela, like, literally having those platforms to be able to get on and pick the brains of the people that are actually doing the work. And the people that are coming are also actually doing the work. And so it makes it a much easier process than just trying to go out and sell Joe at the grocery store on healing stuff.
No
Joe.
shit.
I just like grabbed that Joe Schmo. I love working with Joe. I've gotten to do body work with him, and it's awesome. But like, but you know, just a random stranger that just isn't on necessarily this path. And I think that this is just really opening the platform for all of us, and it's rad. So
Super rad.
love
Super
that.
boss.
Super boss. Oh, I haven't said that one. Super boss. I like it.
What are rad boss? It's
Rad
bad.
boss.
It's so bad,
Dope.
man.
That's
Feels
so
so
dope.
bad.
So bad. Oh yeah. That's so bad. Yeah, I like that. I like
Fresh
it.
Prince of Bel-Air, man. Love that shit.
Yeah, I love Fresh Prince.
Hey, one of my favorite shows. I can't wait to meet Will Smith someday. I know it's gonna happen.
No, I'm not too sure on that shit right now with what's happening with the like whole Hollywood stuff. Not that I want to get too far into conspiracy so much on this, but I'm not too sure. There's a lot happening with the celebrities right now, and I really think that that's going to be a whole different world. Maybe you get to meet Will Smith, but I'm not too sure.
Jen, I'm definitely meeting Will Smith. Like, it's in my reality. I've known that for a long time. There's a handful of celebrities. That, hold on, Zach pulling something up. What'd it say? Super boss.
Super boss.
Right on.
All
yeah,
right.
like,
well,
no,
maybe we'll drive you. We'll drive you to the prison that he's locked up in, and then you can totally meet him.
Good, totally. Maybe we'll have him on the show from the prison or some shit. I don't know, man. Giving him a safe space to tell a
I
story.
don't know. I mean,
Really.
maybe Will Smith isn't all involved in that, but I just it's just a little bit.
Jen, but think about it if he is, right? Or anyone like him, to eventually, with the platform we're building, to bring them on to tell their story in a safe space, man, to actually tell their story from their perspective.
Honestly,
the shit they've gone
save
through.
their souls. You're totally
Absolutely.
right, Aaron. I am appreciative that you just said that, because that was the other part. Like I can't express the tears that I have spread through this process of awakening for the world, for beyond myself. And it has been too with the foil ads. Exactly. But it is like it's high probability that these celebrities have sold their souls to be able to get to where they are. But we're in the process of saving souls here, and to, like I'm saying, like these molesters, and I'm like, their higher selves wouldn't have done this, right? But like go back, and it is about healing. And I agree with you on that, Aaron, and I retract that, because those are the other things. It's not about hanging the people up and like by the stake and doing that. It's like our own. It's not about that at all.
There's a really good video we should watch on the show sometime on it's TED Talk. It's about are people monsters, or can people be monsters, or something? And it's an incredible presentation of her getting to know this horrific person. She lays out what he did. I mean, awful, just horrific shit, right? And everybody saw him as a monster and whatever. Well, she went to visit in prison and hear his life story. Like, you have no idea the amount of times, like, he's raped by his father, like all this crazy shit. Doesn't excuse his behavior, but like, when you can hear the humanity of someone, they're not just some fucking born sociopath. And I'm sure that happens, but like, oh, what's that say?
I don't know what it says. It's just this weird hat. Oh, it's like, what is that? A spaghetti hat?
Okay. Like the spaghetti monster?
My spaghetti hat. Oh, she got her spaghetti hat ready. Oh, I love that, Jasmine. Oh, that's what Jasmine said the other night. She said she's gonna grab her spaghetti. How do you say it? Spaghetti hat. I love it.
Okay, so the celebrity dynamic, also knowing, to me, on some level, their higher selves did choose that. That's the point. It's like being able to realize you're part of a game on some level, but look, we're in a new world now. So you, as the avatar, the I am presence here now, you have the choice to change those contracts at any time. Doesn't matter if you sold their soul. If you want to change the rest of your experience here, there's a possibility to do that. At the very least, gain your soul back. You may never leave prison, but you might. Really, being able to come and be transparent and be authentic, man. We're here to help clear karma and re-heal and integrate people back into society.
Exactly. And I'm telling you, like, I watched this Johnny Depp video where he was like down in what looks like caves, and he was like, and he was really what sounded like scared. And he's like, I'm not used to doing this social media. And I just sat there and I just expressed, like, however, like, how do we do this where we do all come together? Because even if they've done the most horrific things, I have spoken to many people beyond mind-blowing shit that they've done that just is sickening to the gut. But you can still see them in there. and they
Right.
still exist. And I
Look,
want to go and get them is what I want. I want to
look, man.
liberate them.
People don't realize a lot of times you
Help.
just don't understand if you haven't done the research. A lot of times these celebrities and people in that they've been in these generational families, or they've
Yep.
remote viewed and picked these people out a long time ago. So from a
Yep.
young age, they're molested,
Or
they're
created
abused,
them.
crazy shit happens, right? So in their 3D avatar neurological sense, what
Yeah.
they know is this lifestyle trauma. Yes, they have to choose, but they're also presented with options. There's not really a choice. And like your life path was kind
Exactly.
of set up on that. But we're at a point now where things aren't going the way that they were originally going to go. Hillary Clinton, World War III, all that shit. Like they're trying this
Yeah.
shit now. I don't think it'll work, but look, it'll come to a place where more and more stuff will come out. And being able to acknowledge that, acknowledge the trauma they've been through, realize they're human, they're not monsters, because everyone will want to make them out to be monsters, and they're
Yeah,
human.
everyone will do this. Yeah, and this is yes, I am so grateful we're talking about this, Aaron, because
Yeah.
this is literally like we're coming right back. Like I can't like tell you like the magnitude of my heart right now when it comes to like I'm a liberator. Like if you look at my gene keys chart, literally my life path is liberation. So
Yeah. So okay, so Tiffany says, "What's the celebrity thing?" And then Will says, "It's hard to believe this stuff exists sometimes." So here's the deal, in a distilled manner here, because you can do your own research, and this may sound like conspiracy theory stuff. I've done
out of the
thousands of
shadows.
hours.
We'll
Yeah, I've
fill
done
that. Yeah.
thousands of hours of personal interviews with people, and really stringing through and seeing the consistencies and the inconsistencies. And this shit isn't made up, man. People have been through insane amounts of trauma, like really rituals at young ages of like Christ being dressed up and raping them. Like you don't even understand, man. People really do not understand the shit people have experienced, the celebrities and other people. They really don't. So if you want to expand your understanding to have more compassion, and there's a quote I put on my page a while back that expanding our understanding builds foundations in the heart upon which true compassion can be built.
Yeah.
So when you break down
totally
those barriers of like, well, that could never happen, or that's just too out there, I don't think that really happens. Like, but maybe you need to look into that a little more if you can't have compassion for those people too.
Yeah.
If you feel like they're a monster, you need to do more research. You really do, and you understand your own humanity. That the Nazis in Germany and all those other things,
The Hitler, it's all spectrum. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, but Jordan Peterson lays it all out very practically, how over time you give up your rights for the sake of the community around. Like for one of the things, for example, a progressive thing. No one in Germany was forced to kill Jews and all that. That was a progressive choice, but it started with people, police stations, being given the option. If you don't feel comfortable with this, you can go home. There's no judgment. There's no shame. There's no guilt. Like if you don't want to do certain things, but then there's a compulsion to be there for your brothers. If I go home and have to leave them to do the dirty work, that's not fair. So like it's a slow slide in progression, like what you're talking about, carrying the weight a little bit more weight each time. You don't notice how much weight you're carrying, and so every time you let someone encroach upon your boundaries, they're going to do it more and more and more until you realize, like, holy shit, how did I let this shit get this far?
Yeah, that's the Weber-Fechner law. Yeah.
So always being able to be aware of yourself and like where you're at and what's going on in you. If you're getting out of balance, you're being pulled into something you don't quite understand, then pull the fuck back, man. Don't let anybody pulling you into some shit. No, you really got to know who you are and discern that shit. Circumambulate.
This is the no free will, like what you were like talking about too, like with how it's like implanted, where it's like you can have this, but then you start looking at your brothers and you start to do this, and you start to end up going against what your higher self would end up doing. I was also thinking about like with like you don't know where they came from. I saw this video of this little boy that had an English accent that had, I mean, he looked kind of gaunt, but he was talking like about like the things that they did to like babies and ate them and roasted them and all this kind of stuff, and he was just talking like that's just what they did and blah 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 blah. Like a little kid would just talk like it was a normal thing. No, we would roast them and then we would crush their skulls and da da da. And so but this kid is just a normal kid telling a just normal kid story that was not a normal kid story. Like, so these, we don't know every path of what they have been on to this point. And honestly, all of that exists inside of us, all of it, like from all extremes that comes down to the center. If we had the exact same path as that kid, we would be doing the same thing that kid would be doing, and so to like hang them up for this stuff is I mean they need, because of their choices, I'm sure, to pay for what they have done in some way, right? But again, it is about liberating liberating the souls. That yeah,
Right.
it's
And well,
a
that's the
very
thing. And I mean, that
fascinating time.
you learn this in the church too, in different dynamics. I mean, you see the most hardened Hell's Angels, like abusers, rapists, just like murderers, crazy shit. They come to Jesus, right? And their whole life's
Yeah.
changed. And they have that as their
Total
life
teddy
story. Like,
bears.
look, this is what I used to do. I was a rapist, I was this and this, but my life is different. I am a different person now. And obviously the steps of like making reparations where you can and all that kind of shit, that's all part of your inner journey of healing and cleansing when you've wounded other people. But to be able to accept that like one of the things I had a friend lay out to me that I thought was really profound, it made a lot of sense, that back in a lot more traditional tribes and cultures, that they would also, I'd like to bring attention to this chair again now that's in the light. Please portal into this chair and join our fire. This is for you right here. We go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Done. All right. So yeah. So
wait. For anyone that just joined, that chair there, where anyone can go sit and join the fire, but it's also manifesting your future for all of us to come together to the spot in Washington. And so place yourself there and imagine things around there, you being there, and it being easy for you to get there, so that we're all coming together. We're all gonna do it.
Willow said, why is this planet so cruel? Willow's like, there's a lot of things that lead up to it. Ultimately, it comes down to us connecting with ourselves and us making choices. So when you heal yourself, you heal the world. But really, it's everybody's different. Everybody's story is different. Right. But for me, in my experience, pulling back and back and back out of just this life, integrating other lifetimes, other perspectives, circumambulating, it helps me understand that on one level, it is a game. It absolutely is a game. Now, it's a very real game. Like on Rick and Morty, what was it, the game Roy, where they put the headset on, they live the whole life of Roy.
Yeah.
Right. And when they come out of it, they're all disoriented because it's only been like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but they lived his whole lifetime.
His whole life. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh my God, who am I? Like, what is happening?" Right? He comes out of it, but like, in a lot of ways, it's like that. And so, how do you want to make your experience here the most beautiful, enjoyable, free flowing, comfortable, always growing, always exciting, always interesting, always progressive? Like, how do you do that? You clear out anything that causes resistance inside of you, the ways that other people have pained you, and you hold on to the pain of other people. It's like drinking poison, hoping the other person will die.
Yeah, exactly.
You just can't. You just got to let it go, man. And it doesn't mean you dissociate. That's fine. If like, there's times shit is overwhelming. Like you were talking, Jen. I've wept so many tears for the collective, if you will, for the victims, for the celebrities, for different people, like just absolutely gut-wrenching sobbing, right? And carrying that grief for knowing what they've been through, and that people don't, the additional burden of knowing how terrifying it must be for them to know that people won't understand. They're just going to see them as monsters, from cool celebrities to monsters. How awful for them. Awful.
I know.
Right?
Yeah,
so,
Disney movies, they're going to be like, what? Disney? No, Disney's the best. Disney's the worst, most satanic. I mean, it's just very satanic. I mean, ritualistic, wicked. Yeah, and to Willow, the way I see, like, a couple things, the world's so cruel. Well, first of all, duality exists here. 50% is in that spectrum, man. 50% isn't. And so it's all a perspective in what you're looking at, but it really isn't duality. You're neither one of those spaces. You're more than that. And once you rise above that and not accept that cruelty that you're perceiving in it, you won't perceive the world's cruelty, if you will. And there's also where I was like talking is that we've been being manipulated and being put to sleep. Like television alone is like literally was created back in the 50s to hypnotize people. It's the hypno box, which then everybody had it in their house, pumped full of this information, violence, crimes, fake news, lies, taking away free will. Like in the sense that you're okaying these arguments that are on the television, you interpolate that information in that bandwidth, and then you go and act that in your life, absent-minded and asleep to that reality, because you're actually hypnotized into it. And that's this other part to this great awakening, is stepping away from that. So I say to any of my clients or people, be careful what you're watching on television. It's purposely being manipulated. And if you are choosing to watch things, purposely do shit to wake yourself the fuck up and find ways to keep it novel, because they're purposely, with the lighting, with all of
Yeah.
that is part of it. But it's
Well,
called the silent war. If you look into it, like literally this is what their plan was.
right.
And now but we're now hitting like 2012 into a new yogic cycle, the raising the consciousness, so a lot of things are actually in motion. So the cruelty of the world, well, the lights are really getting shown on it, but taking and getting rid of the judgments and whatever happens with that, I would say would be the best thing you could do for yourself. You can perceive the cruelty but not perceive it into your reality would be the best thing, because what you're doing is you're a creator, you're creating your reality. And as long as you hold on to that negative way of thinking, you'll only create more of that negativity and more cruelty, because like I said, the universe is listening, and it's creating what you're asking for, what you want. And if you're fixated on the cruelty, that's what you want more than the good.
So Arya says, hold on, I have to read it here and then post it because I can barely read on this little screen. But she says, my understanding of it is that we came here again and again to experience all aspects of existence. Okay, so on one hand, I feel like yes, right, but that can be too oversimplified for our ego. It's like, oh, I came here to experience everything. Great, so I shouldn't feel bad about being raped because I came here to experience everything. It's like, there's a little bit of an integration that needs to happen there, because our ego only knows this life. Our ego, unless we spent time working with it and teaching it, hey, buddy, you're not the only one. We've had many lifetimes. You're just the current avatar. And like, oh, okay, like building a relationship with our ego. It's just this presentation of a personality, or digital residual image into a 3D matrix space, right?
Yeah.
So being able to perceive ourselves in those higher levels, that yes, there's some level we came here to experience it, great. And that is healing, really is. I don't want to just diminish from that is healing, to have that higher perspective, but it can be also used to dissociate from our traumas. And that's where you get those gurus and those yogis and all that shit where they're just fucking untouchable, always wearing white. You can't really relate to them because they're always living in the upper chakras. And it's like, dude, you got to integrate your shit.
Yeah.
So like being able to really go through all of your chakras, all your systems, and know your story personally. I know mine, I'm building mine, not just here in 3D, but like my past history. The more I just experience things and tune into shit, the more I realize what I've already done, what I've already learned, what I brought here, what I have access to from other lifetimes. And so it makes this lifetime that much more fun and exciting. But it's the whole spectrum, from every little 3D experience I've had to the highest level perspectives that I can possibly grasp.
Yeah.
All of it.
All of it. And I think, like, even talking about like Hitler and this and that, is like, when you start to really do this work, you start to realize that you're all things, and you had the potential to be all of those things. So all of those experiences are your experiences, all in this one experience, all in this spot now. So yes, but yes, but exactly, kind of like, I agree with you, Aaron, on that too. And Arya too. Like, there's pieces of truth in like everything, but I think it definitely is more to that, for sure.
Yeah. Cloud excuse me, Cloud Atlas was a really cool movie. Yeah, have you seen Cloud Atlas?
No.
It's
really again, I've watched very, very little movies and television for the last like 20 years of my life. When I was younger, I watched more, but I there's some things I've watched, and so sometimes I'll be like, oh yes, I did see this, but I have not seen Cloud Atlas.
Yeah, that's right. We won't dive into it right now, but yeah, there's a lot of interesting nuances in there. Let's see. So Willow says, hold on. I feel like I just leveled up listening to this conversation. Which is good. I mean, that's the point of creating the space. I mean, Jen and I are learning each other in this dynamic. We're expressing thoughts and ideas, and just like, and obviously you guys are participating in the comment, and that's the point of having a live, organic live show and interacting, which Jen will be doing on her own. And now you can come and join her live and come on the show. Please. And you guys can process through shit. And it'll be awesome.
Yeah, like seriously. Exactly.
Call says Cloud Atlas is epic. Yeah, maybe we'll have that part up here. We'll have ceremonies and watch Cloud Atlas. That's what we'll do when everybody comes up here.
Everyone's like, Joe too. Joe's like, you gotta watch this. He's gotten me to watch a couple things. but I don't necessarily finish them.
Daniel Mello. Hold on, is this the same? Is this different Mello from Munchies Mello or whatever? Daniel Mello.
Mello's here. I thought you weren't going to be back, Mello, until Monday.
Oh
You're
yeah, see
here
that's what
tonight?
he's got a
Yay,
different name though.
Mello!
He's usually Munchies with Mello, but like, okay,
Yeah, but
hey, y'all, stopping by to drop
yay!
the quick hello and much love to you. Wish I could be listening to everything. Oh, that's cool.
Aw,
Love you.
Mello, love you, love you, love you. I'm so glad you stopped by. That's awesome. Aw.
Gnosis and praxis are two very different things. Is that what she said? Sorry, hold
Yeah.
on. I gotta bump it off. Gnosis and praxis. What is praxis?
What is praxis? I don't know what praxis is.
Jack, can you pull that definition up on the screen or something? Or maybe you can come on and talk about it if you know what it is. I've never heard the word.
Yeah, don't know what that is.
Or she might have said practice. Maybe it was a spell type.
Oh,
Gnosis
may-
and
oh.
knowing it versus practice.
Oh, that could be practice. Yeah.
That makes sense. It's true. Because really, it's one thing to know. We talk about all these concepts, but the reason you and I can talk about them in depth is because we've done this shit on our own, man. We've done a lot of shit in our own internal worlds. And so we're not just throwing out ideas. We're throwing out ideas that have worked for us. And even as we dive into them, we're finding new layers and levels of benefit from those ideas.
Exactly. Yeah, totally agreed. It's fun to be able to have a platform to actually just like share that. And it was one thing like when you put those like Facebook posts up or you know these random things, but it's a totally different thing to just organically talk about it. Oh, praxis, it is.
Oh, okay.
As distinguished from theory. So practice. Oh, well, it's practice as distinguished from theory.
As a much better word than just practice.
Between theory and practice.
Love that.
Text and
I'm
world.
glad that you brought that to my awareness.
Yay, Arya! Word of the day. We didn't have one. We needed one.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Praxis.
Yeah.
Right on.
Accepted practice or custom. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like when I see it in the Christian, that's a great word. Thanks, Arya.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Gnosis and praxis.
Gnosis and praxis.
Well, that's true. It's like if you have all this gnosis, you're very active, aware, turned on being. But if you're in fear all the time, because all the entities out there, it's so dirty. Oh, I can't hug people. It's too dirty. Like, I might need to work on balancing your own energy so you can overflow and you can affect them and they don't affect you. That's where you put into praxis your own works and your own gnosis. You got to put that into praxis so it's integrated into the neurology of this little avatar. Otherwise, you can't embody your higher self in every moment because that's what you want to do. Ideally, everywhere you put your feet and you step on your ground, you are 100% present to deal with whatever situation's in front of you.
Actually, I really love this word praxis more than gnosis because recently I've been having, because I used to always say a knowing. Oh, that's weird. Zach, can you mute your mic for a sec? But is the G in gnosis, like the G itself is an arrow just pointing to this looping that cycle, which I'm always like leery of something that starts with a G, like our language. But this praxis, like the thing I like about it is like it is based off of our theories led by our intuition that brought us to this point. It's like, yeah, dude, that's really great, Arya. Like I love words so much.
It's funny that the G in Hebrew, it's actually there's part of an extra alphabet, not just 22 letters, but like 27 or 29 letters.
Yeah.
And one of the symbols they found that often can represent G or the guttural G sound is it's a rope that's twisted, like the Sayoshto or whatever it was, the twisting. It's literally like a rope that's twisted.
Yeah. So that would make interesting. Yeah, words I think are really important, and they're manipulating our language for a reason, and that's a very, very powerful word. So why did they put that G in front of it? You know, there's things to think about. So
Totally.
and we're spelling our realities with everything that we're saying. That literally has geometry that creates waves that like
I love what Zach said on the show last night too about when you're wearing a mask, it literally stops your own geometry from actually affecting your environment. It's literally true. It's very true.
I'd like to chime in real quick too on the praxis thing. That in a certain way, the praxis is kind of the idea of turning knowledge into wisdom, and in a certain way, looking at that. With that system, gnosis actually comes basically at the beginning as an intuition, where it's a data download that you then logically compartmentalize and turn into what you call knowledge. But you have to enact that knowledge in order to figure out what doesn't work about it. And that's when you then get to the wisdom that lies on the other side of it. But gnosis is something that comes to you. But if you have, if you engage in a good praxis of your life as a whole, you likely will have access to gnosis that flows into you, but only through further praxis will that gnosis turn into a functional, relevant wisdom that applies to
Yeah.
your life.
Very well said. 100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
knowledge. Or sorry, action turns knowledge into wisdom. Yeah, I really like that progression.
And like Willow says here, exactly, what's the use of knowledge if you can't implement it? Praxis
100%.
is the process of trying to implement that knowledge and failing.
Yeah. Until that practice becomes a mastery.
Yeah, it's important to attempt to apply it to see how it does and doesn't functionally really apply, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that, Zach. I feel so spoiled to be able to have Zach in my life, to be able to like add even more information. Like you said, when I met him, I don't even know how many dictionaries that I used, and just I've always just absolutely loved words. And then he brought deeper things like the etymology of words and
Yeah.
the like breaking that down, and even the linguistics of our language and Sanskrit and other languages. I mean, it just feels so spoiled to be able to have someone like Zach in my life. I feel like I always have a 7 Bomar with me.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah, for sure. You definitely do.
Yeah, I definitely have it. Like literally, like I honestly I feel like Zach is like, yeah, definitely. I'm very lucky.
Definitely.
All right, you asked for it. If we're gonna do this, then realize that
Do it.
this praxis is actually is not a good tone. It's ah. So it's either praxis or it's proxis. But when we go with the proxis, we can also attach it to the ideas of prana. And prana, by definition, is breath, considered as a life-giving force. In many ways, praxis gives breath or life to the knowledge that you have, which allows it to be the wisdom. On top of that, it is effectively the process of using things. So this is very much so associated to process as much as it is to practice, right? So the action of going through the process is that. And in a certain other way, you could also say that this word then ends up being related to alchemy, because alchemy is functionally the process of processes. So, or the praxis of process.
And Zach's out. Mic drop.
Totally.
Well done, sir.
Well done. Wow. That is fascinating.
So
I was like,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was also like looking at the word, and he jumped off faster because I see the pra, and I'm thinking of the prana, and then the X being the Z pinching of that center. You know, there's the conjunction point, and so prana, the breath, Z pinching it is the reality. It's a theory. Like it's a very powerful word. That's what I also read into that. So what were you gonna say?
Go ahead, read her comment. Willow's comments on there.
Oh, English definitely isn't the best language. We should create our own. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
very
like
manipulated language, Willow. Very, very manipulated language.
So I think
arguably the most.
I think part of what we're creating in this new community and just part of the process is a new language. It really is. It's letting go of old paradigms, old words, king, queen, all that, everything, really letting go of all of it. But it takes time to transition people into new symbol sets, because we're literally going to try to create, or not try to, it just happened, create our own languages, our own symbol sets. I mean, that's where, because we are respelling, recasting the language for now until we can come up with ways of different sounds, interactions, telepathy, shit where we don't have to speak their words. We can still connect and have the realities that we create regardless of the previous structure. But eventually letting go of that structure is very limited and very limiting every time we speak it. But, you know, all of us on here and different people are finding ways to master the language, to carry through the higher frequencies through a fucking dumbed down, stupid ass language.
I totally agree. And then perhaps even like what Zach said, or like what I was talking about the other day about reading that animal medicine book, not even planning to fix my eyesight, but just that theory of the vowel sounds and trying to cycle the chakras. So like Zach takes that and he's like the proxys, of the heart. So if we begin that process of just speaking our language using the vowels of it, could, I think, be maybe a start. That's kind of what kind of came to my mind, where it's like, well, kind of branching from something in the past, something Zach said, and bringing it all in. I like it.
Yeah.
Another fun route is XIS is 6 backwards.
Ah.
Oh, that is interesting.
What is the? I'm trying to remember the name now. I sent Zach a meme of the of Elon Musk's new child, right? It's like AE, the ether sign.
Yeah, I don't remember the name, but yeah, X
AJ12 or some
shit. AJ12. Yeah.
He explained it. I think we watched the clip on. I don't know if we watched it, but he explains on the beginning of a Joe Rogan interview, like the very first thing to talk about, and just like, the A12 plane. I think it's A12. I don't know what it is, but like it's one of those really super cool planes. Like he wanted to put that in there. His wife picked the other shit, and like so he didn't really have much personal connection or awareness consciously, or he wasn't saying. But
no, he wasn't saying, Aaron.
Well, no, like here's the thing, man. I don't think I get there's certain things, but there's certain things like certain people don't realize what they're doing. They're running programs, right? So like you might really get why he names. Well, for sure. And I know Elon Musk is interesting, but regardless of whether they're consciously aware of it or not, the point is they did it. I mean, that's actually a reality. They manifested a frequency and words and code into a manifestation, put that label on a human being to carry that frequency. So even if they're conscious or not, that shit happened. And then it's happening. So it's just interesting, all the additional layers and dynamics. You never really know too much how much people are aware of. It doesn't matter. It's still the reality they're creating it.
Yeah, definitely. Like our names are our blessings and our curses. So learning your name and what that means.
There it is. XAEA12. That's literally the name of the child. That's the name of your child.
Yeah. I think Zach should come on and re-explain what that name actually means to people.
Yeah, break it down, Zach.
I mean, I can functionally I can break it down the way that the mother broke it down, which is just her idea was that X is an unknown variable. This AE, which is called AJ, is the way they choose to say that, if you're trying to say the letter, but it represents love/artificial intelligence. That was her reference. So there's a long rabbit hole that you can go down with that one.
Yeah.
Now the A12 is the predecessor to the still currently used SR-71 Blackbird plane from the United States Air Force, which is a high altitude reconnaissance plane. The A12 was the predecessor research plane that was slightly faster, a little bit more maneuverable, and couldn't carry any kind of weapons payload. And they pointed out specifically that it was benevolent, right? That it couldn't be weaponized. And so clearly there's something to think about there too.
Right. Yeah.
So accident, I'm not too sure on that. Thanks, Zach. I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Always interesting layers. I mean, people manifesting different shit into the earth in their own way with their own agendas. And, we try to circumambulate those agendas and try to understand what's going on. Because ultimately, when it comes to our reality, we kick it right back out. We turn sacred neutral, gray Jedi, that shit, and kick it right back out. If it's causing any problems. Yeah.
People actually pay Zach to do their names and understand the meaning and the stories behind it. And it's really rad. Yeah, it's super powerful to get to know yourself to that level and understand what you're creating here and what you're answering to, if you will. And not. Yeah.
One thing I think is actually really interesting about this name is that it doesn't really draw reference from other concepts that came before it. Yeah, I mean, you can attach any symbol that we're going to have in life to something, right? But it doesn't call on the name of some god. It's not from Hebrew. He didn't name it Shiva or something like this. It's something that's everybody thinks it's really weird, right? that
Right.
means that it's unique, right? It's at least got
Novel.
a high level of novelty. And the things that the mother explains it as, I mean, unknown variable, love, and a very fast mode of travel that cannot be weaponized. I mean, like, if you want to look at reality as potentially maybe these people aren't actually, like, you know, trash or something, this
Right.
is a pretty good name, man.
Yeah.
The
Right.
unknown variable is love. As long as we get there fast without weapons, that
Yeah.
could be I would definitely say that name says that technically,
Right.
So
Let's have to
that's
see how it plays out.
yeah. I mean, at the same time, then if we want to go ooh on the other side of
Do it.
it, is that
Yeah, do.
maybe he's purposely created a god that is stronger than the other ones we've ever heard of, and he's summoning it.
Uh-huh.
Could go that
Also
way too.
plausible. Yep.
So, well,
For sure. Circumambulation.
yeah. His name will not be accepted in California. It doesn't matter to Elon Musk on the way out of California, anyways.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
selling
I'll-
everything he owns.
So speaking of which, on the screen now, because the fire's dying here, we kind of ran out of wood. I think we might be screwed. But I've got some Salt Lake candles, Himalayan salt lamp candles. That's what's glowing in the back. That's our seat for people to portal into, right here where this is below.
Oh, I love it.
Hmm.
Aw.
So if you can't see my face, just sit in that chair and tap me on the shoulder.
Oh,
I'll be tuned into it. I'll be waiting.
This
I'm
concept of
tapping
changing
right now,
your name.
Aaron. You didn't look behind you.
This concept of changing your name can be a very worthwhile one, but recognize that it does come along with, well, energetic shifts, right? Your name is very much so your identity, and what you call yourself very much so plays itself out in a certain kind of story. I could literally go on for days of stuff that I've chosen to call myself in order to do that, but realize even the idea of chasing a title of, NBA All-Star is going to define so much of your life. You're going to eat different. You're going to do different things during the day. You're going to hang around a different caliber kind of people,
Totally.
right? All these
Yeah.
things. So if I try to call myself the name NBA All-Star MVP, it's going to heavily sculpt my entire life. So all names really functionally do that in a certain way, because if you look at the name as being the identity, right? So when we think about changing the name, we can come at this from kind of two angles. It can be done purposefully in order to basically create coherence with different formats of information purposefully through symbolic or talismanic identification with the self. Or it can also basically be a projection of just us already going through changes or deaths of the ego, deaths of the self, etc. And another way that we're expressing it is that we want to go by a different moniker that people say to us when they're trying to get our attention functionally.
Yeah.
So it can be basically a projection of a process already happening, but it can also be a functional proxis for gaining energetic coherence.
Let's do the Pee Wee Herman. Word of the day.
Well done. And it all comes full circle. Proxis.
Wow. That's rad, Zach. Wow.
I did feel, Jen, once you said that. So once you said that to me, I tuned into it, and then I could feel you tapping me on my shoulder. But it's funny, yeah, because it's like me and Frank have done this too. So it's like he's right there, something happens, but as I tune into it, it may have happened a few seconds ago or a while ago. It's like when I tune into it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Rad.
Yeah, and
I love that.
the interesting thing about time not being real but functioning at the same time is, and like those things being potentially timeless, right? It's like sometimes
Totally.
you're slow.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, Jen's like, you're not turning around. I'm tapping you, and I immediately like tuned into it, and then felt her tap me, and then you were talking about whatever. But yeah, it's like it's funny how it works. That's part of it, doing it live on video, talking about it, keep bringing attention to it, because it's like trying to all of us to tune into that energy so it becomes real. So at one point here, as we do these videos in different ways over time, somebody will literally be sitting in the chair on video. You know, like me and Frank were talking about. I think that's where we're going to create the new world, the new realities that aren't new at all. They're ancient and they're real and they're us. But we're going to be doing it live on video, and that's where it's not the mainstream news. Not that, it's the people who find the channels and like, holy shit, man, some real shit's going on here. I want to be a part of that. And I want to figure out how to do that inside myself too. You know,
It's really kind of funny because let's see, I guess this would have been about December, maybe January. the place where I was staying, I reoriented our whole bedroom so that it was in line with my natal chart, as the sky
Wow.
was like right then, and
Yeah.
left chairs with specific star systems, and then would
Cool.
do meditations and go to sleep. And like we would literally like, and I even got Jen to do it too because she's awesome like that. As like where if we were gonna set something on the chair, we would literally
We'd
stop and
ask.
out loud ask them if we could
Yeah.
set something on the chair.
Yeah.
And
100%.
like it's I don't know, so it's weird that now like you're sitting here who kind of came along synchronistically in ways, right?
Yep.
And we've had at the Arcturian thing, one of the chairs was Arcturus, like that was the one that was at the foot of the bed was Arcturus. And then on top of that, you're doing the chair thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it for years, man. And then we talked about off air one time too. Yeah, that's so cool.
So cool.
Super weird.
I love it. It's our entanglements. We come together. That is so awesome. Yeah. Yeah, we did do that. I said doo-doo. No, I'm not.
Did you do
Yeah.
that? Did you
Yeah.
do?
It was, yeah, we definitely have come up with some very creative things. Zach has definitely come up with some very creative things to create spaces that are very, very powerful. And I'm grateful to get to learn these tricks.
Well, it's you. It's also you
Mhm.
providing your feminine energy and your womb space and your own consciousness as a human being
Absolutely.
to a framework
Yeah.
maybe he created, but you being present in it recreates that framework in a way that couldn't have happened unless you were present in it. So every time we come in engagement with someone else, it's a new, equally co-creative engagement. Like every time I've entered into meditation or with Zach or different people specifically, there's literally a new energy there that was not there before when I regularly meditated on my own, and new shit comes, new imagery, new awareness, new connections come because you literally entangled with someone else's energy, and the two of you can co-create that energy into something totally new or new perceptions.
Yeah. So rad. Man, this is so rad, guys. Aw.
It is.
And it was,
Yeah.
and Aaron, tonight was kind of like our first time like talking like one-on-one.
Yeah.
For a little bit. Like we haven't actually done that yet. So
Yeah.
that was like a new little dynamic for us.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to do it down there with you in person. Just chat
know.
about it. And it'll be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be so rad. So rad.
She said, really said I was sitting in the empty chair, loving the fire and feeling the warmth and chilly air. It is a little chilly here, so yes, you were there.
Yeah, you were totally there. So cool. So cool how that works.
Mm.
I love it. I love it, guys.
My legs are
Oh.
nice and warm around the coals of the fire is going lower, but it's actually not too chilly now, and the rain's just about quit. So if it clears up here, I might be able to see the sky, which would be nice.
Mm.
Maybe
That's
you
the
can
nice
see a
thing about
comet.
living in California is being able to see the sky a lot. And it was
Yeah.
also great, like being in Washington, like the last 2 times we were able to live on the other side of the mountains right there in Leavenworth. So you
Mhm.
got like the amazing green of Washington. But it was much sunnier most of the time, like the majority of the time. That was really cool. So yeah. I love that.
So okay, this he asked about. The guys wanted to know, or let's see, who is this? Sorry, I have to read this. Vishwendra Singh, aka Uncle Vix.
Uncle Vic.
Hey, can you tell me the name of the group Facebook where all the people pretend to be ants? Yeah, it's called the
got
group.
you.
For,
I got a
yeah,
link.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
I feel potentially a slug meditation or something coming on. Although I got 8% on my phone, I'll have to figure that out in a little bit. But
Yeah, my phone says it's
That's a link
overheating.
to the ant colony.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Benj, that if you want to go into Safe Sacred Space Part 2, which is episode 10, we
Yeah.
we spend like half an hour on this. We make our own meme and add it to the Ant Colony Facebook group, and we make a Ganesha ant, and
Yeah.
then we go in and do a slug meditation eventually, and it's a really fucking cool episode.
Yeah, it was a very fun episode for sure.
Mhm.
Oh man. Wow. This is so fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Cool. So what else, guys?
Well,
Yeah,
Aaron's
what
got
else?
about 8% on his phone. We could do like an actual outro. It is.
Okay.
It is 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah. And my phone is stopped charging and the battery is kind of blinking because it says it's too hot.
Yeah, and I'm down to 6%, so yeah, it's probably a good time to do an outro.
All right.
Technology's failing us.
Well, we will lead out with some music. If you guys want to stay around and listen to the music, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. My camera decided to do weird things all of a sudden. So
weird how that works, isn't it?
Anyway,
Energy's wrapping down, I guess.
Please like and subscribe to the channel. No slug meditation tonight, but we should plan some kind of meditation for the future about connecting with something. Or I'll probably record. I've been meaning to get up meditations that I can play every day, but I've been waiting for good audio gear and this stuff. So nevertheless, I'm going to record some meditations now. At least one of those will probably be like kind of generating a space and some kind of like a bubble inside of that space, within which you will be encouraged to invite a consciousness of your choosing to connect with. That's
awesome.
I like that idea. So I'll probably have that on there and some other stuff with that. So that will be coming.
Yeah, that'll be a great one to have on regularly, once a week or whenever we do it, because then everybody, like, being able to encourage people who did tune into that meditation, like what consciousness did they encounter, share their story. Like, it'll be fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I would like to get with. We talked about the Starseed Collective thing a long time ago, and really, there's just been too much stuff going on. That is a thing that I'm going to be getting going here pretty soon. But nevertheless, please check the description, like and subscribe. Head over to the social media channels. Keep coming back. Listen to what Jen has to say right now.
Oh, I wanted to always give a plug to the Shipibo tribe. If any of you have an extra $4.50 laying around, that would feed an entire family for a month. And the Shipibo tribe is very, very important to me and Zach, and I'm really on a mission to try and keep a consistent $450 a month to be able to feed them. It's very, very important, and it's hard to see that stuff when they're somewhere else. But even though, like, times are tough, like, American dollars of $4.50, man, that's not much. And I just ask that if you want to pay any energy forward, please pay it to the Amazon. Please pay it to them. It would be really, really dope. I love you guys so much. And, you know, like I said, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. And I'm, like, super grateful for that. So I like to always speak out for that, and definitely liking and subscribing to this channel is like super huge, because we're changing the world, man. We're changing the world together. And in my dream, just like theirs, is to have this happening like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so that we can we do this thing. We do this thing. And I love you guys, and thanks for letting me jump on here. And I have my show starting, and I hope many of you come and we sit and we do even more of this. And yeah. I love you. That's my outro.
And we are going to head out at 11:11. Aaron, it was very good to see you tonight. And we will not solo this. We'll bring this
love
back
you too.
up. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We love you very much. We really do appreciate your support. We love you, Jen. Can't wait to see your shows. You know you have found your people when you share the same dream. Super glad to hear that, and I couldn't possibly agree more. I think there's lots of us out there. Sierra Faith, I have not ever met you.
On here.
Oh, wait, I know this Sierra. I do.
Oh my
Hi,
gosh. Sierra. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Look how excited she is.
Oh my gosh. That is so awesome, Sierra. I love you so much. Oh my gosh, you saw it. It was a super surprise. Oh, yay. And you guys, Sierra, she lives in Washington. She lives in Kenmore.
Awesome.
Kenmore. So please bring her in. Sierra Faith.
Yeah.
Oh
cool.
my gosh.
Yeah, connect with us. I got 1% left, so if I drop out, I'm out.
I love you guys. Yay. All
right, guys. It was great seeing you tonight. We will be back again tomorrow night, like every night, with the stream up sometime before 8 o'clock and starting right around 8 o'clock. We will probably have more planning tomorrow, since I won't spend all day with technology. And I appreciate you guys being here. Hope you had a wonderful night. Hope you have an even greater sleep and an even greater tomorrow. And it just keeps getting better, because the wave is just continuously building. You are completely worthy of it, and you totally deserve it. And I love you very much. I hope you have a great night.
Me too.